Hello, everyone. Welcome to Icewind Dale Corrupted, episode 6. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all well on this hot day. We're all boiling. It's too hot. But we're now telling you a story of cold. The icy cold, the Icewind Dale, the north of Faerun. Yes, that is where we are going today. For those of you who don't know what you've stumbled into, we are playing Dungeons & Dragons. We're all playing an RPG here today. That means that all of the players arrayed around me will be playing characters in a shared fantasy universe. They have character sheets provided by D&D Beyond, where they will be able to see what their statistics are and then see what kind of dice they get to roll to do things, often a d20, and then they will add a number to that or take it off in the case of some people's stealth rolls on their sheets.
I don't remove anything, I just don't add anything.
Well, that's not anyway, 20s and above are of course fantastic and lovely, and 1s and below, which does happen occasionally, are hilariously bad, so feel free to boo and or cheer depending on what's going on at that point in time in the story. Right, speaking of the story, I'll get to that in a minute, but first let's go around the lovely people around me here and introduce ourselves. Please give your name, your pronouns, and a bit about your character and their pronouns and where they're at right now. I'm Chris and I use he and they pronouns, and I will pass to Rebecca.
I'm Rebecca. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Ivy, who also uses she, her pronouns. Ivy is a human monk who has turned up at the mines with her little sister and decided to bring her not very fearsome little sister on this trek to the glacier, almost certain death, because that seemed like the best option. Everything's fine.
Good. Thank you, Rebecca. George.
Hello, I am George, and I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Ashra Beckett, or Ash to selectively some people, or Ms. Beckett to selectively more people, who is a human wizard, some might say a necromancer, who is, well, when we're not where we are, in charge of the Howling Mine encampment, where we've been digging for interesting secrets. I am accompanied by, at the moment, a slightly reduced retinue of undeads, in this case 3 skeletons, who it emerged last time through conversation may or may not be, may or may not have once been members of Ashra's family, which is, happy fun times.
Yep. Okay. Emma.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm using she, her pronouns today. I'm playing Prosp'rus, who is a half-orc paladin of the farming goddess Shantea. Prosp'rus wanders around Faerun and helps out communities where Prosp'rus is gender fluid but using she, her pronouns today. She, finds communities in need of help, and this community seemed in need of help. And so Prosp'rus decided that going across the glacier would be a great fun time adventure, which everyone else seems really on board with at all times, and is now slightly regretting that because we're about to do some, sneaky swimming, which Prosp'rus is really bad at.
Every adventure, it's a moment where the paladin goes, my enormous skill set does not apply, does not compute. Yeah.
So this is going to be hella fun. Red. Sorry. Not mine to choose, but red.
I am, in fact, Red. I use he, him, and I'm playing Milk, who also uses he, him. Milk is weird and is here maybe trying to figure out more about weird alien gods because he has some kind of random attachment to some. But at the moment, he's pretty convinced that this is how he and everyone else is going to die in the middle of nowhere, probably by trolls in the water. Poe.
Hi, my name is Poe. I use they, them pronouns, and I play Viktor, who uses he, him pronouns. He is an ex-army doctor who has striven to find the most boring place in the Dales, which turns out is actually not that boring. And is currently very exhausted and a bit confused, and has gone from pro-goo to anti-goo, and is just trying to figure out a way to help.
If you're watching and a lot of those references are going over your head, this is episode 6 of a 12-episode stream, so you are coming in about halfway through the story. halfway. You're coming in exactly halfway through the story. So there is a YouTube playlist on youtube.com/adventurers wanted where you can catch up on the story to date. And I think if you want to watch today from scratch, please do. We'd love to have you. But if references go over your head, there is Twitch chat where you can join in and ask what's going on, or do go back and check up on the whole series. Lovely. Thank you. Right, some AOB before we kick off. Our stream's going to run for 3 hours, and we will have a break somewhere near the middle, just so you can all check in on that. We have some lovely sponsors tonight I'd like to share a bit more information with you about. D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond are the official digital toolset for Dungeons & Dragons and offer a compendium with all of the game's rules, lore, place to build character sheets, everything you want online in a handy... Thank you, Emma. I don't think anyone can see that.
But it's very pretty.
It's a fantastic tool for playing digitally, especially playing over internet providers like this and we are today. So thoroughly recommend check them out at dndbeyond.link/adventurerswanted. We're also sponsored by UltraPro. UltraPro, as opposed to D&D Beyond, are all about the physical tabletop. So they provide a variety of physical tools for your gaming pleasure, including dice, all sorts of other things like dice rolling boxes, but most importantly, ridiculously cute minis. They're not minis. This is quite large for a mini, but they are lovely and adorable. This is what's called a GIF, and you can win one in the Twitch chat today. Not this one. This one is obviously contaminated now, but you can win one, a pre-wrapped one that we will send to you. You must have a UK address, and please just join us in Twitch chat. Any comment will make you eligible and enter, so please do join us there if you can. I'd also like to put a special thank you out to our partners, Idle Champions, who, if you're coming from Idle Champions, hello, thank you for joining us. Idle Champions is a strategy game for Dungeons and Dragons. It's delightfully good fun and recommend checking it out. This will be more of actual D&D, so if you want to watch that, please do stick around and join us here. There'll be a code at the bottom of your screen if that's what you're looking for Idle Champions, where you can unlock a gold chest, and you can also pop, I think, ! code into the Twitch chat, where you will also get the code popping up there too. Lovely. Finally, we play with a diverse range of characters who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans-positive, and we encourage and champion trans players and characters in our games. The DM and players may portray characters of a different gender to their own, and while we aim to avoid misgendering, there it is, we do appreciate it does sometimes happen. So do pop a message in the chat if you think we've missed an opportunity to gender correctly, or drop us a message on any of the social medias, and always happy to hear more and do better. Lovely. Well then, without further ado, let's have that intro video and dive in to Icewind Dale Corrupted.
Yeah.
And we're back. So, episode 6. A lot has happened to date in Icewind Dale Corrupted. This group of adventurers were all part of an encampment digging beneath the Reghead Glacier in the far eastern side of the Icewind Dale, looking for something. Something that turned out to be a crashed Netherese city, the Netherese being a society of uber evil, well, maybe not entirely evil, but definitely uber powerful wizards, whose cities flew through the skies 2,000 years before this point, maybe even a bit more, and one of which is now entombed beneath the glacier, and our adventurers are looking to find out more about, dig beneath. However, in their diggings, they discovered something they maybe wish they hadn't. An ancient Netherese foodstuff that seems to replace the need for food, but also appears to be, somehow, corrupted. Oh, there's the title drop. Oh. I'm very proud of myself.
Boo. Boo. Boo.
Slid it right.
Anyway, in response to that, the players have decided to strike out of their encampment, stop digging beneath the glacier, and try and find maybe anyone local who can help with their predicament, as their camp is also cut off from civilization by howling blizzards and eternal night, thanks to, well, they don't know, but if you buy Rime of the Frost Maiden from Wizards of the Coast, I believe in September, you'll find out more about the actual adventure we are riffing off there, so do check that out. In the meantime, they can't go anywhere. So they are currently traveling across the top of the glacier, trying to find another way through to some of the nomads who live on top of the glacier, one of which was part of the camp and is guiding them to their people's hideout during difficult times, which has been loosely described as being very hot beneath the ice and a little bit jungly. Dinosaurs were mentioned. Yes. So that's what we're aiming for. But in the meantime, beneath the glacier, the party have just rested and leveled up, all level 9 now. Excellent stuff.
Boom.
Why are you surprised, Red? Oh. But yes. The characters are now about to face a very difficult area that they are about to try and traverse. Just for those who didn't watch last time, to make sure we're all caught up. Ashra, George's wizard, has currently sent an arcane eye down a corridor just beneath the ice, not that far below the surface, and has discovered a waterlogged, icy lake beneath the glacier, which Kenna, your guide from the Raycad Nomads, was guiding you towards as a way of getting across this part of the glacier quite quickly. But unfortunately, it appears to have a lot of trolls and frost giants with slightly troll-like features patrolling it. And even though shards of this Netherese city poke up through the water in various spaces, this may be quite a difficult space to traverse as you all wait, listening to Ashra's description of this area and try and make plans of how to cross this under ice lake. Ashra, your arcane eye is still up and has another 45 minutes-ish to go.
Sure.
Do you want to keep looking through this area and find out more information, or do you want to chat about plans of how to cross it? What's the best way to dive in?
Sort of do both at once, I guess. But
Okay.
I may as well get as much use out of the eye as possible.
Okay.
It's a 4th level spell. Don't have too many of those.
Should we
Go on.
Should we say that the eye is currently sort of traversing this area and taking a look around while you lot discuss plans of how you're going to cross this and deal with it? Some plans have already been mentioned. We could maybe double back on those and see which one the group are deciding to stick on while this is happening.
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep sending the eye around while we chat about what's next.
Grand.
Narrating what I see, which again is an unnatural thing for Ashra to do because she's used to keeping information extremely close.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I want to throw in what parts of the plans we've already heard they particularly like or want to do, or what parts they particularly don't want to do.
I mean, I'm not a massive fan of the plan where Ivy goes out by herself, blows out a load of torches, surrounded by incredibly vicious-looking troll, giant, evil hybrids, and tries not to die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, that if we could find an alternative to that would be great.
Well, what other
Milk doesn't like that plan.
well, what other parts of the
It
plan
seems
have we
dangerous.
mentioned so far that we'd particularly like to dive in on? Milk, you mentioned the ability to polymorph. You could polymorph into a swimming creature and get people across that way. They'd be very exposed.
Do you have to polymorph yourself?
No. Anyone who's
Only
keen
because I am the least stealthy person here.
Yeah.
The
Do you wanna blow that up
the
anytime?
only downside of this plan is that I'm also have the most hit points. So if you polymorph me, I cannot assist you if there is then fighting. Aside from that, I could fight as a polymorph thing.
Up
So-
to 10 willing creatures can also walk across water with water walk.
I mean, that's
And
useful
I
for the
have
elk.
to invisibility,
That's quite helpful.
which can help.
Also, I woke up this morning and really feel like that water's looking more solid than it did last night.
Yes, 9th level monks can run on water, Ivy.
I feel like, Victor, if you died, I'd be able to revive you.
No one else want to throw them what they can now do?
I just want to smile
Yeah,
quietly to
You know
myself.
what? I feel a change in the air. Also, before I forget, you might have said, and I might have not heard, Prosp'rus, what pronouns are you using today?
She, her. She, her.
She, her?
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Grand. So Victor has the ability to cast Water Walk on 10 people. At this point, the party is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 skeletons and 3 hangers-on plus an elk.
I mean, the other option is that you could polymorph the elk.
What if I carried Cyrus?
Interesting. That is also potentially an option. Cyrus might be better off carrying you. Cyrus is a dwarf, just to be clear.
Maybe carrying Aspel and the skeletons might go better than carrying.
Also an option, yes, true.
And I'm fine. I don't need water walk as long as, let's see, I have a whole. If I'm still on water or up a wall at the end of my turn, I'll fall.
Correct.
But then I have a lot of movement. So what is it? I can move about 160 feet at a time.
Because you're a monk and you have the mobile feet. Yeah, you can go a very long way.
How long is this cave, Ashra, George?
Chris?
Remind me.
As you're looking out over the water and looking out over the space, the water and this sort of lake, this underwater lake, extends for quite a long way. Like, you can't see the edge of it very clearly. It looks like miles.
Cool. Well, I'll keep exploring with the eye. It's got a quite limited radius of vision as well, even though I can move it freely in any direction. So I'll build up that picture slowly over time.
Are there lumps of stone and city the whole way across? So
there are lumps of stone and city, often partially encased in ice the whole way. Some of them, as you look at them, Ashra, appear to be miniature icebergs and actually floating slightly through the water. Others appear to be more solid and more stationary. You can ask Kenna as well, as Kenna knows this terrain, and I presume Kenna would be part of this conversation. Yeah, the lake goes on for, well, last I checked, it was about 3 miles, and then from the end of it, it is not far to the place of my people. I thought it would be a good shortcut, but this is a problem now.
We could jump on an iceberg, cover ourselves in snow to camouflage, and then paddle our way across.
Oh, look at that really fast-moving iceberg.
I feel like that's such an Avatar The Last Airbender plan.
Yeah, it's our lockdown TV right there. Good. Yeah, that's also an option. Ashra, as your eye continues to travel, roughly a mile into this lake, you do spy one of the icebergs with bits of city sort of raging out of it that looks a bit different from the others. And as you fly a little bit closer, you can see why. There's maybe 5 frost giants in total, not a ridiculous number by any stretch. There are a lot of trolls, more like about 20 that you've seen so far. But you also see a frost giant that doesn't look like the others. This one is sat outside a structure that's built into this iceberg, and the structure looks like it's made entirely of ice and has an almost an igloo-like look about it, but it is made for giant size. It is very, very large. And sat outside it, very definitely gagged and bound, is a frost giant that looks a bit defeated, and she's sitting there with a certain amount of like, yep, this is me now vibe about her.
They appear to have a captive about a mile or so across the lake, a frost giant. I presume this frost giant doesn't have the marks of trollification.
Correct. This frost giant does not have the marks of trollification. Just a big blue giant, but doesn't have the like elongated teeth, sharper claws that you've seen in these frost giants so far, that none of you recognize, and seems to be a bit also corrupted. Gonna keep throwing it in today.
Doesn't have any of the marks of corruption that the others do.
No, George, it's called corrupted, not corruption. God damn it.
Yeah, marks of corruption. Yeah.
It's got to be chromatically correct.
How far out?
A mile.
Maybe a mile. Maybe, no, exactly a mile. Oh, yeah. I'll be more precise than I just was. Yes.
Kenna
go for it, Prosp'rus.
Kenna said you normally said that the frost giants were peaceful.
There is a frost giant dwelling on the lake, but they're never there. It's a sacred space for them. If there are frost giants there, I would have presumed they never bother us and we don't bother them. It's not like they're not violent. They are violent, but they're not like always violent. And frankly, we tend to avoid each other, and it's fine.
We could free the frost giant and make an ally.
So we could either all try and get across the first mile and then recruit the frost giant to help us with the rest of it, or someone sneaky who can walk on water could get across the mile, release them, and then cause a distraction.
I thought you really didn't like that plan. That was literally the first thing you said. You said you really didn't like that plan.
No, there is nothing here that I like. Nothing. But
your sister next to you goes, "Oh,
shush, I love you." But,
And in the meantime, the rest of us could start travelling across the lake on an elk that is actually a plesiosaur.
When you say in the meantime, you could wait for me to get there and then cause the distraction, and then maybe the giant dinosaur piggybacking 10 people will be slightly harder to notice.
I mean, I feel as though a subtler approach might be appropriate. Just...
Aspen next to you, Ivy, goes, that also means that you're a mile away from all of us with no assistance if you have any trouble.
Or if the frost giant turns out not to be very friendly, or if, you turn out not to be as persuasive as you think you are.
Also, you don't speak giant.
I'm not persuasive at all, but I'm hoping that if I cut them free and go like, ooh, and like that's the essence of person communication, right? That's all you need.
Does anybody speak giant?
I think I have tongues. I do have tongues. So I could come along with you, use water walk, and then cast tongues.
Viktor, no disrespect. You're very tired and very loud.
I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit tired and loud.
How long does tongues last for?
Tongues last for an hour.
So you could potentially cast it before.
You could cast it on Ivy.
Ooh. And Aspen is right, I will be a mile away, but also I'm very quick, so I could just run away and it'll all be fine.
Oh my god, you're going to die.
Demonstrate yourself to be very quick. Shall I cast it?
Although I suppose if you do die, both Viktor and myself could revive you afterwards, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do that now.
Aspen, not going to die. But yeah, team, if I do, that's a great idea.
Aspen doesn't look that bothered at all and goes, yeah, it's a good plan.
Does the captain giant look suitably fighting fit that this would be useful?
Can you roll me... Technically, it's your perception check, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be your investigation check?
GI communicates with me telepathically, so it's not a
Can
separate...
you roll me an investigation check then, please?
Investigation.
Or medicine, or frankly, any of the skills that you want to use at this point to look through your eye and judge this.
Performance.
It's not that one.
Perception's technically slightly better, but I'll stick with investigation. It is a total 20.
Oh, lovely. This frost giant, she looks like she has previously been, roughed up, but is currently looking relatively hale and hearty. You note, because you rolled a 20, her hands are tied in front of her, and you recognize they've been tied in a specific way where the thumbs have been tied together. That's usually a sign this person is a spellcaster, because otherwise they could make arcane passes even when their hands are tied. And she's also gagged. So there's a very clear marker of some kind of spellcaster of some sort there. She looks to be at full hit points, but maybe exhausted, maybe a little exhausted. It's hard to tell. Cool.
Does she look hungry, Ashra?
Hungry?
With a 20-ish, yes, she does look like she hasn't eaten in a few days.
Maybe take some food. Like normal food. Our food.
No.
There's me thinking that Prosp'rus had a really smart idea that I was going to be very appreciative of, and then no, maybe take us some food. That'd be good, yeah.
I'm trying to work out what that is.
Food's been a theme, but never mind. Good. Not going to say. If you haven't worked it out, I'm not going to say.
No, if they're trying to persuade her to eat the goo, maybe take her some normal food.
I suspect the giant hasn't eaten in some time, and I suspect, given the situation here, that is, my choice is perhaps an extension, an over-exaggeration, but perhaps they found themselves in a similar position to us.
Goo or starve.
Exactly.
Right.
gives us some more information and means they may have even more information. But I suspect we will learn nothing good.
So, am I going to release them and then get them to cause a beautiful distraction while I sprint back to you and give you a hand? Or am I going to stay with them and help with the distraction? Or are we not going to cause a distraction? Are we going to come and join you and fight, defend? What's the plan? Are you going to try and sneak across while we make a distraction? Or are you going to try and get an ally and fight across? There's a lot of them here, right?
The end game is that we need to be at the other side of the lake. So if you're already 1 mile across, it doesn't make sense for you to try and get back. It makes more sense for us to try and get to you. Because if you're already 1 mile over, trying to get 1 mile back just seems silly. So it makes more sense for maybe you try and cause distraction at that end while we try and get further towards you. Although, to be honest, that leaves us 2 miles of fighting to get through. Anyone, please feel free to chime in.
Don't want the distraction in the direction that we're doing. So Ivy should not be in charge of distraction and monster releasing.
Perhaps less a distraction and more an ambush. If we are heading that way and we're discovered, we have potentially 2 hopefully competent fighters. Ivy, obviously, and this Pross giant waiting, potentially hidden, which could be what we need at that point if we're detected.
How about we throw a little distraction down the front edge way over to perhaps one side to try and clear those between where Ivy would be running, see if a vacant space has arrived. Ivy can dash. We can make our lumbering way across as quiet as possible. Hopefully catch up with her when she's freed our new friend.
Great. What are you thinking distraction was?
Major image down, see if I can cause a little ruckus.
Oh, please do.
Lovely. And then my end, we can play it by ear. If we are discovered first, we can make a distraction from you. If you are discovered first, we can hide and jump out and help you.
Great. Can I sidle over to Viktor?
Great.
Viktor?
Mm-hmm.
I assume that you have some diamonds.
Yes. Who told you that?
Just checking.
Yes, that's a very strange question, but yes, I have diamonds.
Good to know.
You're both aware of what diamonds mean in the context of traveling with people with the ability to, like, diamonds have a currency that isn't just diamond in D&D terms of I can bring people back from the dead. Yes, I can.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yes, I do.
Cyrus is with Prosp'rus and Viktor, not listening in much, but does sort of, when you say that, pick up and go, it's a thought, but it's possible that if one of us does, die and come back, maybe that'll clear the ooze out of our heads.
I mean, that seems like a last resort.
But it's worth a thought.
I'd prefer not to, but I can. That's no secret.
Let's not.
in the name of scientific research.
Let's not aim for that.
It's possibly also worth thinking about that if we die and fall into the water, it's going to be hard to get a body back to cast Revivify on within a minute.
I can also do that. With waterwork, if I target the creature submerged in liquid, this is just what I know, Viktor, off the top of my head, and I'm not reading this from anything. It surface of the liquid at a rate of 60 feet per round.
Amazing.
So I can help someone if you were to take a dip. I'd rather you didn't, but it's not the end of the world. Maybe poor choice of language.
Okay, so Ivy's going to run ahead, and then there's going to be a distraction from Milk, and then we're all going to follow on Plesiosaur back or walking on water?
I think on the Plesiosaur. Or unless, Milk, you think walking on water would be better.
How big is this Plesiosaur? I've never heard of it.
Oh, they're really quite large. Sort of old aquatic dinosaur, if you're familiar with those. Big teeth, kind of, it's like an alligator.
Oh, I know what dinosaurs are. No, you mentioned that word talking about the big lizards the other day.
Yes.
This morning.
Exactly.
Less than 10 minutes ago.
cross. Yes, just so forgetful. A lot happens instead. Like that crosses a dolphin, I suppose. Just sort of merge those two things in your mind, and you'll really have got it.
Red DM question: how big is a plesiosaur in D&D terms?
No, it's fine.
Plesiosaur is only a large, but I could probably do a giant constrictor snake, which is huge.
And would also more people could sit on it. Although constrictor snakes tend to snakes that swim across the surface, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, it has the swim speed.
Just make sure snakes don't go woof underneath and then up again.
I see. Right. Yeah.
I mean,
am I going to whiz around and blow out some of the torches before I set off, or is that useful or a waste of time?
I think the more cover we have, the better.
It's true, but I mean, am I the only one who can't see in the dark?
I can't unless I think really hard about it.
but would they notice that something's wrong? Would that be enough of a distraction, to be fair, that we then wouldn't have to cast the major image?
Is there anything wooden that I could set fire to with some of these torches?
There's some broken boats they're waterlogged, but Ashra has seen these broken boats that with the tribe of the Caribou would have been using.
Should I try and set fire to some boats?
They are waterlogged.
I mean, that's where we're going. I mean, we should just make a choice and do it.
I agree. Make a choice and do it. What's it going to be?
Move as stealthily as possible.
Set fire to some stuff, water walk, and tongues. I think that's the smartest set of options.
Water walk affects 10 creatures, which means that 5, 8, 1 skeleton and the elk.
Ivy doesn't need it because Ivy can run, I think.
Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 allies, 7, 3 skeletons, but the elk would be left behind.
We could ride the elk if it's walking on the water.
I shall ride the elk.
It's not particularly stealthy.
That's true.
It can't possibly be less stealthy than me.
Intriguing. You know what? It would be a disadvantage anyway, and you already are, so it makes no difference.
Can't be worse.
Can't be worse. It means if you fall off the elk, you will fall in the water.
Oh. Tie Prosp'rus to the elk.
We'll tie Prosp'rus to the elk, yeah.
I shall tie myself onto the saddle.
So we have 3 of you having water walk cast on you. The 3 NPCs, Aspen, Kenna, and Cyrus.
I will die if the steed dies.
Yes. And the elk, and the 3 skeletons, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is 10 creatures can have water walk cast on them, which means you don't, and Ivy doesn't.
Yeah. Oh my
I'm
god.
going to die.
I'm going to die specifically in this situation, wearing full plate mail.
No, we've got options. We're fine.
I'm only going to be a mile away. It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
Chris,
what's going
do I have any time left on the arcane eye? And if so, can I bring it back as fast as practical? Because it can see in the dark.
I will say that you can bring it back, and you've got about 15 minutes left.
Would it be more sensible to summon a warhorse at this point? George, can it be cast on me, and can one of your skeletons ride on the elk?
Yeah, fine. Works for me.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
One very special.
As in nearly every single D&D game I have ever DM'd, this plan sounds insane. Let's do it. So.
Oh, should I cast tongues now or later?
Cast tongues on Ivy, and Ivy, you go, and then cast water walk on everyone else, so they can start going. Ivy's going to snuff out torches as she goes, and then Milk is going to do some sort of distraction.
Yes, that's what Milk's going to do. So, first of all, I'll just change my outfit into camo for whatever the area is, like the rocks
camo.
and...
Arctic camo. You are now wearing Arctic camo.
Nice.
And I will... Major image.
Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet because you can't see the space. It's fine. No, we're just getting everyone ready because we're going to do this quickly. Right. So once you can see the space you want to major image, that's when we'll fire on that. So Victor, you have cast tongues on Ivy, correct?
I have, yes.
Excellent. Ivy, you now speak all languages. Great. In which case, Ivy, are you going to set off?
Yeah, I'm going to turn to Aspen and say, stay with... Oh, they're all terrible. Prosp'rus.
Everyone around you just looks at you and just goes, oh.
Do whatever she tells you, unless she tells you to run straight into battle and make a meat shield of yourself, okay?
That's absolutely not what I told her to do.
There we go. Unless she tells you to do that, do whatever she tells you.
Cyrus will step up and put a hand on Aspen's shoulder, dwarf, and go, it's fine.
Hey, you were not the nominated person.
I'm offering to help.
Between you, yes, thank you, both of
no
you. That is
problem, she'll be
wonderful.
fine.
I'm going to go, I'll see you in a bit, so we're going to be fine.
Naruto run off. Good, right. Ivy, you run
Hello.
into the corridor with all the torches in it. There's about one roughly every 20 feet or so that the entirety of the tunnel is dimly lit. Up ahead of you, you can see this bit of Netherese city that is jammed into the end of this tunnel, making a makeshift door. It does have a doorway, an arch doorway in it, that you can start to see through and just about get a sense of what's beyond it. Do you want to cast Dark Vision on yourself now?
Across the lake, is it pitch black?
There are pockets of light wherever these torches are, but they are few and far between.
Let's not make it hard for myself. Yes, I will cast Dark Vision now.
Grand. You don't know, but you can assume that maybe trolls and giants can't see in the dark and thus require light. Hence part of the problem with this space. Cool. You start running and you get through this archway. The archway is slightly up at an angle, so you have to sort of like move around to get through it. This has not been cleverly designed at all. But you do sort of move around very delicately and are now on the edge of this lake, as you can now see as described. Can you roll me a stealth check, please?
Yes, and I have advantage because I have a
Tattoo.
Tattoo. No, that's the one that makes me hard to hit. I have boots.
Fine. You have stuff.
That's an 11. That was cocked. 13 plus 9, 22.
22, of course. Right, with a 22, you step out into this space. The lighting in here is, in most spaces, pretty dark. There are some bright patches of light as these torches on these various places. Some are being held, some are not being held. You've cast Dark Vision on yourself, so you can now see out into this space. And you can see that in the water there are some slow ripples of what you can see are trolls swimming through the water, moving from one of these either outcroppings or icebergy style things to another. There's not a lot of movement. It appears to be relatively still. People aren't moving around a lot. And you can see in the pools of light one or two of these very large giants sort of looking out over the space, occasionally barking something in giant, which you now speak to a troll. And it's largely things like, look over there. Like they're trying to like semblance of order, but
wow, aren't you glad that you speak giant now?
It's worth it.
I feel so enlightened and fulfilled.
And from a cage troll, you get, shut up. Very conversant. It appears they're trying to fortify this area, as in trying to make it secure and make it safe and make it a space they can do things in, but they're not like on high alert or anything like that. The closest of these, most of these blocks and outcroppings do have at least one torch on them, and some have giants, some have trolls. The closest one to you has a couple of trolls sat around on it with a couple swimming in the water around it, but no giant, and it is roughly 80 feet away from you.
If I move 20 feet closer, teleport in and teleport out, am I likely to be able to avoid it without being noticed by a troll?
You've currently rolled a stealth check over 22. I have not rolled to see if they've seen you yet because there's been no opportunity to yet. If you start moving, I will start rolling. If you want to maintain your stealth roll, you have to move at half of your regular speed, but because of mobility and being a monk, I'm not too worried about this.
Only move, 82.5 feet per turn?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be too smug about it before you kill me, just for like...
I'm going to roll when it comes to the time, and when I do, you will be sorry. So go ahead. Tell me what you'd like to do.
Ivy is going to take out all the torches that would be safe to do, and a few that would be anything... All the torches that would be anything but recklessly suicidal to do.
Every single island has at least 2 or 3 trolls on it, and some of them have a giant on them as well. So none of these would be easy, and quite a few of them would be recklessly dangerous. It's up to you.
Not the recklessly dangerous ones, but basically, yes, she'll hit everyone that's not stupid.
Cool. So let's go to the first one then. To run across to the first one, you have to get 80 feet across water, freezing cold water, and at the end of it, your stealth roll is maintained if you move at half speed, and Shadow Step doesn't break your stealth because you stealth from a dim location into another dim location. So you're going to run out onto the water for 20 feet and then Shadow Step?
Yes.
Grand. How does your running on water work? Because you're not like a wuxia monk who does the like tappy tap on the surface of the water.
No. I feel it looks, like with shadow boxing, where your feet are constantly moving and your weight's constantly shifting. It's her weight is never in place for long enough to sink. She is so mobile.
So it's not even magic. You are just literally not breaking the skein on top of the water. Okay, that's boss. So you just move out onto the water. You can see that where you're stepping, the water does ripple slightly, and there is like oh shit, is this going to be a problem? As you move 20 feet out, one of these swimming trolls swims past, doesn't notice a thing. You can shadow step onto the first outcropping out of the light of the torch. The first outcropping is basically a sort of chunk of city, like what looks like part of a wall that's mostly caved in. On one side of it is a torch sconce that has had a giant-sized torch just rammed into it and lit. You are able to appear behind that wall because you can see it on an angle, and you are now on the same island as 3 trolls who are all around this torch, just looking out over the water, occasionally chatting to each other in giant. Their conversation is largely inconsequential.
Can I have scooped up some water just before I teleported and then just dump it over the torch?
Yes, to get to the torch, you'll have to step into the light of the torch, which means they'll have a much better chance of seeing you.
Can I throw the water over the torch?
You could sort of lean around and like try and chuck. It's a handful of water, it's a giant-sized torch. You make me an attack roll with water.
How does that work?
It's a dexterity-based ranged attack, but you're using a handful of water.
So I just add my dex modifier?
You add you're proficient with water, so you add your proficiency and your dex. So it's the same as your dart. Basically, the same as your dart attack roll.
Fab.
Use that.
Thank you.
And there's no damage roll. It's just see if you manage to splash it out.
That would be another 22.
You do. You lean around and just handful of water just throw it and hits the torch, and you duck back behind the wall. And as you do, all 3 of the trolls. Hey, what's going on? I don't know. Can you light it again? Oh, it's wet. Oh. Get a new one. You get a new one. I don't want to get a new one. Fine, I'll go get a new one. And one of the trolls jumps off into the water and starts swimming in a direction towards another place with a lit torch that's farther away from you. Looking around here, you can, if you're not going to the ones where there's like lots of, like there's one where the ones where if you're avoiding the frost giants. Are you avoiding the frost giants?
Yes.
Great.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah. If you want to avoid the frost giants, you can do something similar every step of the way to get, there'll be another like 5, 10 of these as you go before you get to the place that Ashra mentioned, which will be relatively easy to spot. To make our lives easy, I'm going to do some general rolls against your stealth roll.
Well, can I just ask, can Ivy do some quick maths and basically work out, is it making it dark enough and are the torches being replaced enough slowly that it's actually going to make a difference, or is it all just a waste of time?
As you move to the second and third, and presumably do similar things, we'll check the rolls in a second, you can see that you are creating basically a tunnel of water, a tunnel of darkness, sorry. You're creating a tunnel of darkness that could be moved through. The torches are being got and replaced, but very, very slowly. No one's in a rush here. Okay. They're assuming it's some kind of, I mean, I'm going to roll intelligence checks in a minute if they start to put 2 and 2 together. But in the meantime, let me roll some more rolls against your stealth check and see what happens. Because frankly, if none of these trolls rolls a 19 or higher, they're not going to see you.
Brilliant. Someone's going to get a 20, aren't they?
Okay. As you move to the second one, it's similar sort of situation, you manage to swim around behind where the torch... You managed to, sorry, not swim, run across water for a bit and teleport, get behind where it is, and again, trolls are distracted, don't notice you, and manage to move out of the way. And you're fine. When you get to the fourth one, as you are crossing the water, you realise, just slightly too late, that there's a troll in the water, directly in the direction that you are running. And as you shadow step to the island, one of the trolls in the water goes, there's something here, there is, and is just looking around. What would you like to do? You've not been spotted, but they know something's up.
Give up on the torch and immediately teleport to the darkest corner I can find within 60 feet.
Okay, so instead of continuing with torches, you just keep moving and avoid doing torches at that point.
Yeah. Certainly for the next few, if I get, like if number 7 is far enough away that troll's back in the distance, then I'll start again. But
the troll that was in the water is now shouting in troll to other trolls and the giants and saying, "Here, I think someone's here."
Yeah, cool, we're going to give up on the torches and we're going to go as
swims
sneakily
across.
as possible.
If you keep sneaking on, you don't see this, but for everyone else's reference, trolls and giants are now aware something is up, but they're not sure what.
I helped.
Ivy, you continue on your way getting to this. Good. What is everyone else doing now that Ivy has left and started doing the torches?
We
Following
didn't
the
see any of
plan.
that, presumably.
No, you did not.
I was going to say,
Arcane Eye.
if I recall the Arcane Eyes, I'll leave it in the cavern, but I want it on the entrance. Next, the entrance will come through, so that when we're moving, I will have effectively dark vision for however many minutes it remains.
Probably about
But
10
if
at
I
this
can leave
point.
it there for now, I can see what's happening. Well, no, I can see 30 feet of what's happening. I can see a tiny bit of what's happening.
You can't see what's happening or hear what's happening, Ashra, sorry. But you are all moving down the corridor. This corridor is well lit, but you are getting to the end of it. Has Water Walk been cast? Victor, have you cast it?
Sorry. Hey, sorry.
Hello. All good. Have you cast Water Walk?
Yes.
Great. So Water Walk has been cast, and everyone has the ability now to walk on water. There is a slow trickle of water down this passageway, so you can all get this strange sense of, I could test this. And standing on the surface of water, especially moving water, is odd because you're not moving, the water is. It feels like you're standing on... It's not quite like as buoyant as a water bed, but it is that feeling of like, I'm not standing on solid ground. It's a very strange thing, but you can all test this out here and get a slight sense of how this is going to go. As you all move to the doorway, to this mouth of this cave entrance that leads out into this dim but still lit lake of ice and other things. What are you all going to do?
Follow the plan.
Okay, which is? Step out onto the water. Everyone starts going.
Going to create a distraction.
Yeah.
Milk, you create a distraction first. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so first I'd like to make sure I'm quite stealthy.
We'll do stealth rolls once you start walking.
Okay, so I'm just going to send Melinoe up above us, so in case I need a view of things as high as the cavern will allow.
Sure.
And then I will... are there lots of trolls around at the moment down there in front of us that I can see?
What Ashra has seen spread out amongst this lake are roughly 20 to 25 scattered. They're not like immediately there. They're not like immediately looking out. They are just some swimming around the space, some on these small islands. It is a lot of them.
Okay, so then I'm going to major image, which is a range of 120 feet. Sort of, if I'm looking down where we're going, say maybe 60 feet out to one side, as far as I can get that.
Sure, you can.
And the thing I'm going to make is an Arctic giant crab, which they might never have seen before, but they'll have heard rumors, I'm sure. And it's going to emerge above the surface of the water, and part of the thing is that there's going to be one of the trolls, but I'll have made it up, right? That's just sort of hollers for a minute, and then it's sort of sucked under the water, and then you can see the crab kind of there, trying to, surreptitiously attract attention, hopefully.
Okay.
The others to it.
That's fine. Are Arctic giant crabs in any way bioluminescent, perhaps? It could be.
Yeah, usefully. They really, really shine.
Just,
so that I turned out all the lights.
Right.
But only near them do they shine. It's really, the fall off is quite staggering.
What is your spell save DC?
17 these days.
Cool. As this happens, you hear a couple of "Hey, right," in giant. Sometimes you speak so, and a couple of trolls are now moving off and looking at this. And one of the giants that you can see in the sort of a dim pool of light about 100 feet away is looking over and shouting in giant. And there's a hubbub being caused. Some of the trolls are moving towards it. Others are staying on their islets and shouting about what's going on and trying to get a better sense of what's going on. So there is a distraction forming and things are currently looking in a certain direction. What would everyone like to do then? Start stealthing across the water?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Can everyone roll me a stealth check, please?
Oh, that is so disappointing. One of those is a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
What's the other one?
That's a 6.
So for a total of...
6.
Right.
Do you want me to roll for the elk as well?
Yes, please. Cyrus, Victor, you look disappointed.
I rolled the nat 1. I roll at disadvantage, but I rolled was a nat 1, so I don't think I need to roll again for that.
No.
Well, the elk rolled a 5.
Unsurprisingly, Aspen's very good at this, Kenna's very good at this, and Cyrus is not good.
Some very good spell casting. It's just now I've let the team down a bit.
It's okay. There's a distraction, so...
Spell casting was great, though.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd stayed, could have cast past that trace.
You could have done, it's true.
Well.
Everyone else, Milk, what did you roll?
I and Melanoe both rolled 17s.
Grand? Ashra?
I rolled a 19, and the skeleton's got 16, 15, and 14.
That's very impressive.
It's a staggering display of surprising competence.
Cool. In which case, you all start walking out onto the water and start moving out, trying to make your way around creatures, and most of them being distracted and pulled away. Ashra, you can see using your arcane eye, if you let it float down and basically go with you at this point, it will wink out after 10 minutes, so you can't see after that, but you're all in darkness.
With me for as long as possible.
One of the skeletons is on the elk. Great. So a skeleton on an elk and a bunch of people are moving across the ice and are trying to stay out the way. Your Milk, I will say that what you have created is disadvantage on these rolls. With your distraction. Surely
they can only roll as badly as we did.
You never know. You never know what might happen. Mm-hmm. Right. As you all move out onto the water, and you're stealthing, so moving at half speed, so you are slowly moving out and through. There are shouts from the crab as trolls start swimming towards it. A giant lobs a stone that just lands in the water near it. Like, there's some distraction happening, and people are generally dealing with it over there. You do hear a couple of voices in Giant, and none of you speak Giant, going, looking across in your direction and sounding confused. And there are trolls jumping into the water and heading generally in your direction to find out what the strange thing over there is, as they're probably assuming it's another crab. They don't know. But you have not completely avoided anything, but they can't see in the dark. So, are you going to maintain stealth, try and roll again, try and hide behind something, or are you going to just peg it?
Should have had a backup plan.
I'm not
situation.
Sorry, what did you say, Pam?
We do have a backup plan. I can giant eagle and giant fly, a good proportion of our favorite people through this situation.
Don't forget, they've heard you, but they haven't seen you. And they've seen something else that's clearly causing problems. So they're not like shouts and people running towards you with weapons raised high. It's a couple of aquatic trolls are currently swimming in your direction, trying to find out what the dealio is.
Maybe we should just hide behind a bit of
moved
rock.
Like 15 feet.
I think we keep sneaking until we can't.
Okay. If you want to keep sneaking, you can all try and sneak away and try and sneak around the side of one of these. Like there's an iceberg, you could all sneak around the side of it. It is moving, so you have a sort of like Scooby shuffle behind it to all stay behind it. But you are able to all try and hide again, and roll me a second stealth check before any trolls get to you.
If I could send Melinoe out somewhere else, down close to the water, and then I will mimic through her the sound of another giant Arctic crab, sort of as it froths towards the surface.
Yes.
You will not believe this. I've rolled another natural 20 and a 15.
Oh, yeah.
6.
Is that a 15? That's a...
Yeah, that's 15.
I was looking at the wrong dice, sorry.
I can't believe that I've lost 2 natural 20s to disadvantage stealth rolls.
What's everyone else's like?
Oh, the elk is a
I rolled a 2 on the dice.
What?
I don't know what's happening, but that is a 7 overall.
The elk is 13.
That was a 13. 7's the lowest at the moment.
No, not for long.
16 for Milk.
16 for
and,
Milk. Melinoe's not rolling a stealth check. Melinoe is now in the water going... That's my impression of a giant Arctic crab, by the way.
Thank you. That's
Probably just a lot of clacking.
Crabs do make noise.
I got a 4. It tantalizingly hovered on the 20 and then just ticked over onto the 2. The skeleton's got 19, 11, and 6.
Okay, so 4's the lowest. One troll is swimming out to find out what's going on over there. Other trolls are now swimming towards what sounds like a second crab coming out of the water, but no light, which they're now associating with it, so they're confused. The troll who's swimming out into the water towards you hears rustle of clothing, movement, and is going to continue to follow after you behind this glacier. Those of you that can see in the dark, it's now within 30 feet of you. It's just paddling through the water, looking confused more than anything else, trying to make sense of what's happening, because it saw a giant crab come out of the water, which is now being pelted and attacked by its friends. It's heard another one, and now it's heard movement. So it is the only one currently that is after you, and is about 30 feet away from you in the water. Can't see very well, trying to make sense of what is going on around it. And we'll hold that there. It is not. It's a troll. It's giant. And we'll hold that there. Ivy. As you're all sort of behind a glacier and there's a troll just looking around. Ivy, you have moved between various ones. Where you were starting to be worried you might be getting caught, you've now heard behind some shouts in giant of, "Here's a fucking crab over there. What a massive one. Here, another one." And you start hearing shouts like that behind you. You are moving out of range of this, but you realize your friends have entered the fray and may or may not have done a good job of the thing they said they were doing. You, however, have managed to sneak your way carefully, not drawing too much attention, always managing to stay out of the way. And you are now, the next island you will get to, you can see this frost giant. She is sat on it by herself. There are no trolls or giants around her. She is lit. You can see inside this igloo there are yes, lit. Inside this igloo there are a couple of wall sconces with torches again, which appear to be not melting the igloo, which is fascinating. And she is lit from behind by the sort of doorway of light, but you can't see anyone else on this island.
Okay. I won't blow out the lights because probably the last thing she needs is to be approached by a strange voice in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Can I approach to maybe 10 feet away?
Mm-hmm.
Basically a distance where I can be quiet whilst talking to her, but not like, "There's someone right behind you," because don't want her to be freaked out. That sounds unkind.
You can teleport to a point which is dark on there and stay there and just start talking. It would be voice coming out of nowhere. That won't change. But
Yeah, fair.
Cool. You, again, step onto the water and make your way across again. You're out of range of any trolls and things. They're now, quite a few of them are quite distracted. As you appear on this island in the dark, you are about 15 feet away from this figure, still, like, she's raised her head at the sounds from the southern end and is sort of listening in intently about what's going on, but so far hasn't been able to find out what's happening at the far end. What do you say?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi, I'm behind you. I can come round and, like, wave at you.
Who are you?
Like.
What is going on?
My name's Ivy. My friends and I are trying to get across this thing and don't like the evil food that's turning people evil. And we feel from your predicament that you may agree with us on that.
What evil food? What are you talking about?
Nothing, I'm very cold.
Who? You and your friends are trying to cross the lake?
Yes.
You couldn't have picked a worse time.
Why? What's happening?
It's complicated. Can you step out? I'd like to know who I'm talking to.
Is there anyone who's going to jump out and kill me if I do?
No, they have. They've left me here, and they keep a wide berth of the shrine.
Can I insight check?
Sure.
Just because I am trusting it. Natural 20.
Ooh.
What a waste!
No, everything she said is accurate, and there's nothing for you to worry about. What you get from that is that the shrine was mentioned with some reverence.
Okay, I will creep round. Hi.
Okay, hello.
Sorry, were you expecting a giant? Yeah, no, this is just a spell.
Not much you can do. I'm
What
guessing
about?
your friends are also little people.
Some of them are quite big little people, and even like the little ones hit really, really hard.
Okay, you need to untie me now.
I need you to tell me what. I mean, I want to. That's why I came over, but I do need you to tell me what will happen when that happens.
I could help, I suppose. I could create a distraction. I don't know. I could. The situation's a bit fucked up. There's a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for more support than you.
There's like 12 of us. Some of us are skeletons, but some of us aren't.
You have spellcasters amongst you.
Yes. One's very good at doing weird stuff. One occasionally is great and otherwise dies a lot. One hits really, really hard with magic and like a scythe. And then one is really good at stopping us from dying.
Okay,
so like,
whatever.
there's a team.
Yes, fine. You need to untie me. I will... It's complicated. Look, my brethren are not as they're supposed to be. Something's gone wrong. And
We know what's gone wrong with them.
You know.
Yeah. I know, not so little people. We can be useful. Yeah, we know what's gone wrong.
What's gone wrong with them? What's happened?
I'll tell you if you, maybe we do the fighting and they're not dying, and then we can tell you. And also, we have killed some of your people, so we're not too useless.
Look, that's not going to help us right now, is it? If you could just untie me, I can help, but... What do you mean food? Tell me what's going on. Explain it to me.
I don't know that I can. There's some black goo underground that apparently is meant to be just super fine and normal and a bit holy, and it's been corrupted by something that may be an ancient evil god and is turning people into much more vicious, nasty, horrible versions of themselves.
Her expression goes from mild annoyance to a look of like anger and frustration, and like it's hard to describe. It's a moment of, oh, this is so shit. Like it's that expression of like, oh, for fuck's sake, just like it's that expression. It's how did this bullshit? Like it's that is just written plainly across her face.
Yeah, I know, it's the worst.
Yeah,
literally
I see the problem.
Mm.
Okay.
So we were wondering, we could hide here and then ambush from behind, or we can make a distraction, or we can charge out and join our friend. What do you think? And as I'm asking her, I'm going to start cutting her free. I've got a knife or a dagger or something.
Let me explain quickly. My people, we have a thing we can do that can help us in times of great need. We consume the heart of the troll, and it makes us more like the troll, but it means we can survive if we need to. And if I don't know what the trolls are eating, but if the trolls are eating it, then they are.
Right,
it's my
that's
ritual.
bad.
I did this.
You did this?
Yes, I fed them the troll hearts. It is how
Are
we
you
become.
the holy person?
You can say priest. It's fine.
I don't know. Are you the priest?
Yes.
Why were you tied up here? What did you do? Also, what's your name?
I'm Threema.
Still cutting you. Threema?
Threema.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Not maybe in these circumstances, but yeah, why are you tied up here?
Because they started not listening to me. They started doing things differently, and now they are clearly, they need to keep me, to keep feeding them the hearts. But I think I started to see the problem here.
Yes.
Bless you.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, big
can't-
problem. Don't want to say it's all your fault, but, problem.
She looks down at you. She's 4 times the size of you.
Ivy.
There's no way I can stop. I cannot do it anymore.
That would be a good start. How long does it last for?
Months.
Ah.
Sometimes
Oh.
it's permanent.
Are you prepared to kill your people?
Not. I don't want to.
No, that's not what I asked. None of us want to.
I can distract them.
Okay.
I can annoy them, and they will want me back. I am the only person who can perform the ritual.
I mean, that sounds ideal, but also that does also sound like then we leave you here with them at the end.
No, I will go north. I will try and find there are numerous kingdoms. I will see what I can do.
Okay.
She looks behind her at the igloo. You must make me a promise before I do anything. You and your friends will not enter this space.
Why?
It is sacred to us.
Just because it's sacred and not because we'll see something super bad?
It is sacred to us, and it is sacred to us. Please do not enter. Otherwise, we don't have a deal.
I mean, again, I really don't want to be rude, and I totally understand sacred things, but also I come from somewhere where a place was sacred and also really, really, really evil. So if it's not evil and sacred, absolutely I will respect that. But if it's sacred but also absolutely needs entering and destroying, then...
It is not evil like your bad food is evil.
Okay, yeah, we have a deal.
Good. She gets up. Okay. If your friends can come close, I will be able to hide your leaving. I can cast a spell that means a large part of the terrain will be hallucinatory, will be different from... I can cast hallucinatory terrain, says Threema. I can cast a very powerful illusion. I also have the ability to create storms of ice. That won't damage my people, but it will slow everyone down.
That sounds fantastic, thank you.
They would need to get here, though.
I can go back and help them with that.
Okay.
Sorry for the terse. I feel like we'd actually get on quite well in different circumstances, but
In different
thank you.
circumstances, my people would be consuming you because it is cold and there is no food.
Yeah, you make a solid point. I'm going to go now.
Strange bedfellows.
Yeah, well, it is very cold.
Do you run back and start looking for your friends?
But yes, I'm going to try and find them with the intent to cast Pass Without Trace when I do.
Cool. Back with the others, there's a troll within 30 feet of you that has heard something and is looking for you but hasn't found you yet. What would you like to do? Considering that it's currently, if you did decide to do anything to it, a surprise round, but trolls are notoriously hard to take down in one go. So, and also quietly, what would you like to do? Your stealth rolls are not good enough. You could potentially all roll another stealth roll and try and get away. or you could try and create another distraction. It's up to you how you handle this.
We can handle it, right? There are always options.
We could
But does anyone have any? Because giant crab.
You could stand very still. Does anyone have anything like like blindness, deafness? I have no spells that are useful in control situations. I
Neither
could-
do I.
I could make it tell us the
Okay.
truth.
I see you.
Or
Don't
just
I?
Ash.
I'm just thinking.
If you've got a banishment, that might be quite good here.
Milk's concentrating
Okay.
already.
Do you know who does have darkness?
You.
This guy!
You're not there.
Okay, that's fine.
No.
I'll charm
Go on.
monster as well, because that doesn't require concentration.
Does it not?
No.
Intriguing.
What's on my list?
Okay. What saving throw am I making?
Wisdom.
Ha.
Please.
Fucking. Okay. 1 second, please. Just getting the stat up.
Oh, wait. Are there any other creatures within 30 feet that I might want to charm? I can charm 2 because it's 5th level.
There's no other trolls. They're all distracted or busy trying to, I will say this for you. They're going to find Melanoe relatively soon if you don't do something about that, but it's up to you.
Okay. We've got a lot of hands on this herb here. Sure.
Right, I've rolled a 3 on a wisdom saving throw, so what do you say to the troll that is approaching all of you?
I mean, go save Melanoe, clearly.
Go make a distraction
Sorry?
somewhere else?
Go,
Yeah.
go save Melanoe, clearly.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
As the troll
Yeah.
swims forward, you step forward, you start casting. As you do, you become audible and visible because spells make you audible and visible. And the troll looks up and then you cast Charm Person. And the troll just and says in giant,
Oh, bugger, I don't speak its language. But it's friendly, right? Maybe I'll just sort of make the international gesture of welcome.
the troll raises its hand out of the water.
And
Mel.
then yes, Victor, darling.
I do still have 1 use of tongues left if you'd like it.
Oh, sure.
Fucking overkill, okay.
Okay, I cast tongues again on Milk. Kind of help this guy over.
Gosh, how unusual that we would run into each other all the way out here. It's really important that, exciting and unusual as this is, that we keep it very, very quiet. You
Okay.
with me?
Okay, I can do that. Yeah.
Good. I just need you to stay with us really, really quietly and just come this way.
What? Follows you. Are you
Great.
moving? Are you moving across to the next island, trying to get further away from all the distractions?
Yes.
Can everyone please roll me a stealth check?
Oh.
3rd time lucky. Come on.
That
Well,
was a 3.
Well, mine is a 7, and the elk rolled a 6.
Wow.
Okay. And can I return Mel back up into the air at some point?
Mel can go flying straight up if you want at any point. As she does, there will be a couple of trolls who are getting close, and the sound. Are you stopping her making the sound as well?
Oh yeah, because I'd have to be doing that. So then I've been talking to her.
In which case, the sound has gone, and she has gone up into the air. Roll a stealth check for Melanoe.
She rolls a 23.
Even with a nat 20 from one of the trolls, their perception modifier is a +2. Melanoe flies up into the air, and the trolls just swing around, and you tongues has now been cast on you, Milk, so you can just hear in the distance. Hey, did you hear a second crab? Yeah. There's no crab here. No. Look under the water. All right. Just a bunch of trolls trying to deal with the second crab situation. By the way, your first major image, you are quite a way away from it now, and you can hear.
But
Sorry?
can I bring it with me?
Move the crab.
Depends how many actions I'm burning through here at the moment. But yeah, I can use an action to move it.
Trolls are now interacting with the crab and have realised it is not there. So there's a certain number of there's nothing here. Not real. So trolls are now actively looking for what is going on. So your illusion has stopped being effectively.
Cool. Then I'll just make the crab go back underwater and then drop the spell.
Cool. As you are all moving across to the next island, on this island, you can see a giant that was chucking...
We don't need to go between the islands. We've got water walk. We can just go.
If you want to hide, you have to hide somewhere. You can't just hide on the surface of the water.
But it's darker on the surface of the water because the torches are on the island.
I see. Do you want to if you want to
there's no
avoid,
reason to go
sure.
to the islands where the trolls are and the giants. That puts us in more danger. We might as well stay further out on the water, away from the torches and the giants.
As you move out on the water then and start moving around, there are a couple of islands in your way that you're going to have to move around in some way, shape or form. And you are realizing that you're not particularly quiet. As you move forward, the giants and trolls around, not necessarily that close to you, are now shouting to each other. Milk, you understand them. And it's things like, there's something out here. Yeah, there's something out here. Everyone, fan out. Yeah, fan out. And people are just sort of moving around. And you've realized with your poor stealth rolls now that it's going to be very hard for you to get through here without some kind of combat encounter. There are now about...
So without some kind of combat encounter.
There are 10 to 15 trolls just searching the waterways looking for what is going on. They can't see particularly well, so they have to get on top of you before they do anything. And the giants are peering out, most of them holding rocks, big snowy, icy balls, just ready to throw at anything they might see. But you are now you've realised that this isn't a stealth roll and you're fucked. This is we're not going to be able to get past this.
Is the stealth helping in any way, or would we be better off abandoning stealth and running?
At the moment, they have not seen you, but you are all smart enough to realise that you are not rolling high enough stealth rolls. You are not being stealthy enough to get past them without something happening. So you could make a break for it and run.
The stealth is helping us get further on without having
The stealth has helped you get to this point.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
You could make a break for it. Some of you are faster than others. Giants are faster than all of you. Trolls swim quite quickly.
How fast does everyone go? Is anyone slower than 30? Cyrus would be.
Cyrus is a dwarf. Cyrus is 25.
And when Ivy's back, we could potentially have Pass Without Trace. Right?
I will say that if you decided to make a break for it, if you sprint, all of you, Cyrus is the only one that might slowly start to fall behind, and I'm not going to be a dick about it. People can grab hold of Cyrus's hand and drag him along to make sure he's moving a bit faster. That is fine.
I mean, the skeleton's not heavy, so Cyrus could potentially ride on the elk with the dwarf.
Skeleton.
Sorry. Oh, my brain.
Cyrus is a dwarf.
Yeah.
You could potentially all sort of decide to make a break for it and just run. You'd be able to outrun most of the trolls. However, they swim as fast as you dash. So there would be questions there of how quickly you could dash past and potential grapple checks. And giants can throw things a very, very long range.
Chris?
Yeah.
I am still exhausted. Am I at half speed, or did I make that up?
No, half speed is second level of exhaustion.
Oh, yeah, and I killed that, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, thank you.
You can all feel a slight numbness in your feet. You're still standing on water, and the water is cold. Ivy is making her way back, but you can't see that and don't know that. What would you all... Do you have anything particular you want to do at this moment? Do you want to make a break for it? Do you want to hold fire here? Do you want to use your charmed troll to try and defuse the situation?
I mean, looking around, I would say that the troll seems like a useful thing to take advantage of. It's charmed for an hour, but it probably won't last that long in terms of events unfolding.
What's that? And what for an hour?
It's lovely. Look at the view here. Isn't it amazing?
It is really pretty, yeah.
No, it's great. Ash?
Could perhaps cause a ruckus somewhere. Convince them that there's another source of problem, another crab or some other creature. Or that it just needs help away from us.
Yeah, if we could still slightly further along and make a break when we're closer, that might be our best option.
I can't talk to it. This would have to be through you.
Sorry, I didn't hear Emma then.
Oh, sorry. If we could stealth slightly further, so if the troll could make a distraction to get us even slightly further before they notice us, then we could run once we're closer. Cyrus can always ride the elk, which means that, apologies, Cyrus, you won't fall slightly further behind.
Oh, sure, I understand.
We can break through the last rank of them between here and the island we're heading for.
Okay.
It's just avoiding fighting the entire mass of them.
I'll say
floating
to
on
the
the wall.
troll then, fun little game. Why don't we have some fun with your friends and let's pretend, I don't know, that you've just been attacked by a giant Arctic crab, one of those classic monsters. And just
like the
fun
one
this
earlier.
way. Yeah, exactly like that.
Right.
And just really make them believe that there's one this way, they should all stay away from it, and run hell for leather, as much noise as possible. Fun, eh?
Where do you want me to do that? Do you want me to do that here?
Here, but sort of heading back the way we've come. We're going to just take a stroll
Alright.
further up this direction.
Okay. Is it a
Yeah?
minute this lasts?
An hour.
No, he's charmed for an hour. Or she. Or they.
Have you
Didn't decide, let's say they. Right, so...
have you told them that they definitely haven't seen us?
Oh, and just to cap it off, make sure it's really realistic. Just forget we were here. Just completely,
Like hide and seek.
Exactly it. And the quickest way out, we are heading in the best direction for that, aren't we? Straight up this way.
Quickest way out is if you go points to your left off the lake where there's a clear pathway that's sort of another tunnel that seems to go up and out. If you go that way, you get on to the top of the glacier. You know.
We were a little bit suspicious of that, I have to say. Don't you find that up there is quite unstable?
Yeah, you fall through, but we all call swimming. It's great fun. It's a game.
Yes. And I do love a game, as you know.
Like hide and seek.
Like, exactly, one of my favourites. And Run from the Giant Crab, don't forget that one.
Oh, yeah,
That's the
sorry.
game.
Start swimming.
Okay.
Gets about 20 feet away from you, back around the other side of the island, starts going, oh, no. Oh, there's a giant crab. Oh, it's got my leg.
I'm not responsible for their acting skills. I did what I could.
I mean, it's a decent performance, all said. 13. Yeah. Yes. Oh, no. Oh, I'm going under.
Can we use that to continue stealthing slightly further up?
Yeah.
At that shouting, the trolls behind you that were already like, there's no crabs here. Oh, it's over there. It's got Jim. And I was swimming over to try and help. And the giants, some of the ones that are there and are leaning out and what's going on? And are sort of shouting across. You can move around one of these islands with another stealth check if you want to. Again, I will make things roll with disadvantage to see you because of the effect that you're having. But
Let's do it. Let's get as far as we can.
Yeah. Well, I have rolled F4.
Why? Stealth checks me bad as well.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh, fuck it.
Okay, I think this is just the worst one.
I think what
I rolled a 17.
17 on disadvantage.
Yeah.
Wow.
the elk rolled an 11.
With disadvantage. I've got plus loads.
I think the worst thing about this is just my feeling for Rebecca, who has started a character who's so good at stealth check and isn't participating in any of this.
It's fine. I'm doing really well about this. It's all fine.
George?
I rolled a 9. The skeletons rolled a 7, a 6, and a 3.
I mean, there was a nat 1 in there from someone, so, you know.
Oh, there was. Yes, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. As your new troll buddy swims off and starts doing the, oh no, I'm drowning, sound effects, most trolls and giants are moving in that direction. However, as you try and move off, there are shouts and you have been spotted. And there's a sploosh next to you as a ball of ice and snow just impacts the water as giants are now trying to range find you. We will do initiative in a sec, but not yet. Ivy, you are on your way back. Can you roll me a stealth check, please?
Yes. They are both cut. How is that possible? Blah, 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 17.
Ooh, it's not that high.
No, I know. I rolled a 3 and an 8.
As you are skipping your way back across the ice, you, again, are shadow stepping where you can, or running out onto the water and then shadow stepping where you can to make sure you do it quickly. As you do, you can see that in front of you, as you move about 800 feet back, ahead of you, there's a lot of shouting and kerfuffle. You speak giant. There's a couple of giants on a nearby island to you, again, roughly 80 feet away, going, do you see them? No, there's something over there. and throws and do something over there. And they're sort of range finding, trying to find out what's going on. There are a couple of trolls around. Most of them appear to be distracted by shouts of the words giant crab echoing across the ice weirdly. Little shouts about giant crabs. And you do hear someone going, "Oh no, a giant crab's got me." But you are behind this row of islands that the party are running towards. And people are aware that something's out on the water, but not exactly what it is. Is there anything in particular you'd like to do before we roll initiative?
Cry. No.
Oh. Okay. Well, in which case, everyone, can everyone please roll me initiative? This one will be slightly complex due to, well, the setup. While we're doing that, we have a fun little new toy we're going to play with. What's that? Is that? That's... Yep. What you'll see I've placed in front of me here is some kind of DM screen. I don't use DM screens. Why would I have a DM screen? What would I need a DM screen for? Well, let's find out as we play Initiative Tracker. So, what has everyone rolled? Can we go through characters individually this time, please? Prosp'rus, what did you roll?
10.
10. Right, well, I don't know where that puts you with it against everyone else, but I'm going to pop you
solidly in the middle.
The middle
probably.
of this initiative tracker. Oh, it's a Prosp'rus mini on an initiative tracker. Yeah. Lovely stuff. Ash.
I rolled a natural 20, which almost never happens. I genuinely can't remember the last one.
So what is a
22 total?
22
Woo.
total.
22.
Splendid. So I'll put you at the far end of the initiative tracker. There's Ashra's mini. Milk, where are you?
So I rolled a 13, Melinoe rolled a 16.
30. Melinoe will go on your turn, don't worry. That puts you just ahead of Prosp'rus. There's the milk mini.
Oh, how exciting.
Ivy.
23.
Sorry, George.
Always dragging your heels, Ivy.
Sorry, George. Removed from the top.
I rolled
Oh, no.
18.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
Very good. And Viktor, what have you got?
14 altogether.
Oh, for... and there
The most
is Viktor.
average I could be.
Viktor as well. And there we have an initiative tracker.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't got the monsters
look
on
at the
here as
team.
well. It's just for the team, so you can get a better sense of who's going next, who's after whom, that sort of thing. Prosp'rus, as always, taking up the rear, even with a 10.
I will have no mod to initiative
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Dex is not important to me. As this session has solidly proven.
Correct. Well, that's our initiative, and I have the initiative for our monsters as well. So with that in mind, this initiative counter is ridic, and we are at 1 hour 25 in terms of our timings for today. So I reckon we'll come back to this combat after the break and dive straight in from there. How does that sound to everyone?
Great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Splendid. And in which case, everyone, hold your horses, and we'll see you in roughly 5:10 when we will dive into this ridiculous combat scenario we've just made for ourselves. So, see you all in 5:10. Bye.
Bye. And we're back! Yay! You
can't hear the jokes we do before we start streaming, but we're such adults. Is what I'll say. We are such adults.
Professional.
Consummate professionals.
And hilarious. Just hilarious.
Yeah. So initiative has been rolled. We have the tracker. Yay. So we will dive straight into initiative. What I'm going to say, if everyone is okay with it, is that the group of people, instead of all moving individually and us getting into confusing conversations about movement, can we all say that everyone's movement is going to be moving with the group, and that group will all move as part of a round, and that everyone is moving together effectively unless that becomes untenable?
Do we move like on initiative count 20 or on like...
Effectively, what will happen is you will all move with the first person in the group who moves, and all their movement will be at the same time.
Okay.
If it gets into eggy situations where that becomes difficult, we'll work it out differently. But I think for the time being, that seems to be the best way to handle this, if everyone's okay with that.
Will the same broadly apply to the monsters in that they'll sort of track with us unless we do something to prevent that?
Exactly, yes.
Unless we do something to prevent it, like a scythe to the head.
Yes. So, at the top of initiative, Ivy, you, as described, the little island that you are on, this crag of mostly more rock than ice, this one, is roughly... I'm going to say about 80 feet away from the one in front of it, where there are two frost giants lobbing rocks, icy boulders, big snowballs basically, into the water roughly 50 feet ahead of them. Your dark vision is good, but you can't see that far. So you can see them lobbing in a direction, but you can't see what they're lobbing at. From everyone else's perspective, giants are range finding with rocks. They can't see you particularly well because it's very dark in here, and they didn't really expect people to be on the water in that way. And they're expecting trolls to handle stuff on the water, but you've also quite conclusively distracted trolls on the water. So at this point in time, nothing has engaged you, but there are giants throwing things in your general direction. Ivy, it's your turn first. What do you want to do?
Ideally, stay pretty quiet till I can get closer to the party. I don't want to start being a target all by myself, I think.
Okay.
So carry on creeping up to the party as stealthily as I possibly can.
Do you want to roll me a new stealth roll?
No, I'm scared.
The last stealth roll was poor, so you know.
You're right. The last one was really bad. I can see if I can do better with the 8.
That's poor for Ivy.
I have a +9. I got 8 with advantage. That's better. That was a 19, so 28.
I mean, I will roll for the frost giants because I think it's only fair, but there's no way they can get it. Yep. What are you trying to... You are currently keeping cool, keeping calm, keeping...
So cool, so
hidden.
calm.
Yep. Stay hidden. You are on this... The island you are on, this mostly rocky island, is about 80 feet away from this... more of an iceberg style thing that the giants are on. The one the giants are on has a couple of torches on it and is quite well lit. There are dark patches you could teleport to if you ran out onto the water and then kept your stealth and went across. You could be on the same island as the two frost giants. It's not big, the one the frost giants are on. The iceberg is maybe 50 feet across diameter.
What would be the advantage of being alone by myself on an island with two frost giants?
You'd be close to the party and you can't be on water.
Yes, you're right. If I end on water, I'd fall. Okay, then yes, I'll do that, please, and be really, really quiet.
You've already rolled a very good stealth roll, so you step out onto the water again, just not quite breaking the skein on the top, just sort of balancing on the water's surface and take a couple of steps and then teleport out. And
those insects, the water skaters?
Yeah, that.
That.
You sort of balance on the surface very strangely and then... You are, again, in the shadows in a darkened part of this iceberg with two giants within about 20, 25 feet of you that are currently talking to each other. You currently speak giant, so can you see anything? Something out there. And there's rocks these sort of big snowballs being thrown in a general direction about 50 feet ahead of you that you can't quite see either. It is, even with your dark vision, you can't quite see the party at this point.
So tempting to go... boo, you giant. But I'm not doing that. Not doing that.
Right.
Self-restraint is a thing.
Ash, you and the party, because you're going first, you can, if you want to move 30 feet, you can all talk about this as it would be all of your movement. Do you want to move you can move either side of this island. You are basically quite near the middle of this lake, so there's other islands within about 100 feet of this. and there are other frost giants shouting and trying to find out what's going on, and there are trolls in the water. But 30 feet ahead of you, if you were to go either side of this island, there are no trolls in the water. If you move 30 feet forward and you stay out of the light, you can still be audible but not visible because you're not stealthing anymore, and be out of the light for the frost giants to actually see you.
I think that makes the most sense to me. If everyone
would everyone like to do that as a group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In which case, the whole party moves forward and is making their way carefully around the side of this island, let's say to the left. And the frost giants know that you're there. They've heard movement, but they can't see you, so you're staying out of light. As you all move around to the side, Ash, do you want to take any actions or bonus actions?
Yeah, probably. I want to ask 2 questions first. First off, roughly how wide is this space?
The bit of lake that you are currently in, hundreds of feet wide. There is water and then an island, then more water. You can't see the edges of this lake at the point. Above you, roughly, 150, 200 feet above you is the top of this space. And it's not a cavern. It's basically lots and lots of cracked ice with various holes, and it's not a contiguous flat surface at all. And you can see these like icebergs floating in the lake probably came from above.
Huh. Good information. And do I have any estimation of how deep the water is where we are?
I don't think you would.
Listening to the rocks, I guess.
I mean, there's no easy way to get it, and it is very clear, very clean water. You can see that, like you can see down about maybe 10, 15 feet underwater, but then light refraction. It's not very bright in here anyway.
Did you not bring your dipstick?
Really, really long. Just going down.
It's 4 mile dipstick.
It's a chain of skeletons holding hands. Yeah. I don't. And could you just remind me of what the key threats are at this point? Because there
are 2 frost giants on the island ahead of you that are chucking rocks, these snowballs, in your general direction, trying to range find because they can't see you. There are trolls in the water, but not, if the whole party moves, not within 30 feet of you.
Fine.
There are some within about 100 feet of you, but they are currently distracted. They're currently dealing with a lot of different threats. Giant crabs, a troll buddy who's insisting that he's been eaten by a giant crab. The
usual.
The usual.
But if we're going to call attention to ourselves anyway, I'll use my action proactively rather than sitting on it. I'm going to cast Fireball at the giant. Sorry, Ivy, I don't know you're there, I assume. Also, you probably have evasion, so you're probably fine.
If you aim,
check that.
George, slightly metagaming, but I'll give this to you. You could aim at one giant, you could aim at the other giant, you could aim at both of them, which would encompass most of the top of this.
You don't know that I'm there.
I don't
it's
know
fine.
that you're there, like genuinely. If I did know, I'd probably still do it, but I'd aim tactically, but I genuinely don't.
Okay.
So we're going to hit that button and roll some many d6.
Okay, the giants are making dex saving throws, yes?
Yes, please.
Cool. With this, they will have a better idea of where you are because they can see you. I will say that if you want to, you can have effectively done this and then moved.
Sure.
Like, that's fine. And they can hear you. They're still attacking with disadvantage, so they can't see into the darkness, even if they know where you are, so it doesn't make much of a difference. But as you're running, you bring out a fireball and lob it over towards the giants. They make dex saves. One is a 7, one is a 17.
Do I also need to make a dex save?
You do need to make a dex save.
I do have evasion, so this is better.
Yeah.
Is this because of my cloak of?
I think monks get evasion, I think.
Right. So does that mean then my cloak of displacement does something on top? Or
No, cloak of displacement is for attacks aimed at you specifically.
I knew that.
all good.
That was a 16 on the dice. Sorry, I haven't used it before. What do I add to it?
It's just a dex saving throw. What is your dexterity saving throw modifier?
Oh, saving throw, idiot. Sorry, 25.
Oh, yeah.
And because you have evasion, you dodge out of the way. You, Ivy, you see the fireball coming, and you just find a small bit of ice and just nope. And the explosion, the blast just goes over the top of your head, singeing a couple of hairs maybe, but doesn't affect you in any way. And your stealth is not compromised either, amazingly. So the 2 frost giants take the hits. One fails the save and one does not. What's the damage, George?
It's 22. It's not an amazing one.
So 22 on one and 11 on the other?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. There's an echoing boom from this explosion as well, and that you notice around you, Ivy, that not only has there been a crater-like impact in the side of the sort of slight peak that rises at the top of the iceberg, but also the whole thing is sort of slightly wet underfoot now as it's starting to melt a little from this sudden onslaught of ice. You also hear from Ashra behind you, you hear a bunch of trolls with an, oh, that doesn't a Milk, you speak troll right now, you're getting, oh no, and they're going to start moving through the water in this direction as they've now recognised the greater threat is over there.
Prosp'rus was like, are we doing this? And I was like, yeah, we're doing this.
And so on. As a bonus action, I'll just instruct the skeletons to bow shot attack any trolls in immediate range when they get close, but not yet. If they get
What's
close.
when they get close?
If they're within 30 feet of the party.
The 30 feet of the party, thank you. Lovely. Kenna, who is running with everyone across the top of the water, has a long bow and is going to take a shot at one of the giants. Why not? That is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, look at Kenna being all badass.
That is, 22. It's a 19 on the dice. And she has improved critical. So 8, 10, 11 points of damage with an arrow. The giant that you didn't do quite as much fire damage to now seems to have taken about as much damage again as a longbow shot fires out of the darkness and impacts, because they are well lit. They're lit on the surface of the ice right here.
Certainly were when the fireball hit.
Mm-hmm. Victor, what would you like to do?
Excellent question. I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to attack with my crossbow and use strike.
Mm-hmm.
If that's cool.
You're running with everyone and just fire out a crossbow bolt as you go. You're within about 60 feet of the island, so you're not far enough away to have disadvantage or anything.
Yeah. Love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I've got to remind myself what Divine Strike does, because it's been a moment.
You add a d8 of damage if you hit.
I do that. Thank you so very much.
Mm-hmm.
So that is non-nat 20 to hit.
Yeah, you hit.
Oh, it might. And then where's my d8? There it is. That is 7 plus 7, so 14 points of damage.
Is that the same giant that Kenna was shooting at?
Yes.
Cool. Range finding with rocks, and suddenly a fireball explodes, and thunk, thunk, 2 different types of projectile thunk into this giant's, upper torso. Lovely. And any bonus actions, Victor?
Good question. I was going to maybe cast Sanctuary on my buddy, my pal Cyrus.
Sure. Cyrus doesn't have the lowest hit points of all the NPCs traveling with you. That's fine.
Yep, so I would like to do that, please.
Cool, you cast Sanctuary on
Make sure
Cyrus.
we're both... Presumably we're both staying very close to Prosp'rus.
Yes, I'm going to assume that everyone who needs to be within Prosp'rus' aura is staying very resolutely within Prosp'rus' aura. I think everyone has the effect of Prosp'rus' aura right now. If you're running together, that's fine.
Great, that's my turn.
Aspen is running with everyone else. Aspen is not going to speed up, but Aspen is going to ready a parry if necessary. Milk, are you running with everyone else as well, presumably?
Yes.
Cool.
I will run along among. If I was to speak or call out, would that be a free action or an action?
If you're just speaking.
That's question 1. Yeah. Well, loudly.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
And have I heard giants speaking for like a minute yet?
Interesting. I will say that with all of the different trolls and you're moving through this space, that at least a minute has passed, so you've spent a minute listening to giants. That's fine. Are you using your actor feat, perchance?
I'm going to use my actor feat to do some shouting.
Great.
And I'm going to shout to the 2 giants up ahead, hopefully in a voice I feel they'd recognize from somewhere else or from around the cave.
You can replicate... you've heard lots of trolls speaking. You can probably replicate a troll pretty well.
Okay. And speaking in their tongue, as I do at the moment, I believe. Do I?
You do? You have tongues passed on you, yes.
I'm going to call out, "Hey, stop! What are you doing?" In the hope of preventing them. And if that isn't the use of my action,
it
then
is.
I'm going to...
Do you want to make a deception check? Do you want to... What kind of check is it? Is it deception or performance? Is it either?
Deception.
Deception, sure.
I would say with advantage. which is good. That is... Oh, that's a big number to add. 26.
26. I roll insight in response, don't I?
You may.
Well, the highest roll there is an 11. How are you... What? Where did the fire and the arrows come from? What's going on?
I don't know, but it's not from over here. It's from somewhere else. Stop hitting me.
One giant turns to the other. Do you know what's going on? No. Good. Right. We'll see what that does. Cyrus running with you is on the back of the elk now, and has got on the back of the elk, has a heavy crossbow, and just sort of lifting it, and after hearing that exchange, should I not? Well, anyone?
Oh, I will side eye to Ash, who's, ostensibly in charge here.
Ostensibly, it's fair. I feel like we're mostly compromised, so we should get in the shots while we can.
What? Fires a heavy crossbow. That's a 14 to hit, which misses a heavy crossbow. What should we do? I don't know. Hey! Comes from the frost giants on the island again. The trolls behind you are swimming in your general direction. They're trying to get a better sense of what's going on, and they're trying to get a better sense of... but they can't see shit either. So there's lots of shouting. You hear water splashing behind you. They're all dashing, and they have a swim speed, so they are faster than you. But they are currently not aware of where you are. They're not close to you, but there are a lot of trolls coming up from the rear. Prosp'rus.
How many trolls behind could I get in a 5-foot wide, 60-foot line?
You have dark vision.
I do.
You can see a couple, but they're sort of spaced out, trying to find what's going on in the water, so maybe 2.
All right, if I angle towards the giants, could I get any trolls and giants?
No, the trolls are behind you, giants in front of you. You could hit one of the giants. I tell you what, with you are running... on your next turn, if the giants don't move, and you don't think they have any reason to at the moment, because they don't, you'd probably hit both of them. But if you did it now, you'd hit one of them.
I can do it on both turns, so...
You can do it on both turns, yeah. You could use it all the time.
Well, I will cast Sunbeam at 2 of the trolls behind.
Of the trolls, not the giants.
Well, yes, because I can only get 1 giant and I can get 2 trolls.
Sure, okay. Behind you just turn around and fire a sunbeam out of the end of your scythe.
Yes. It's 2 Constitution saving throws.
Con saves.
Yes, please.
Trolls have good con. The lowest roll there is a 19.
No, they save, but they still take the damage.
Okay.
But they're not blinded.
Okay.
Ooh. It's 24.
24 points of damage, and it's radiant damage.
It is radiant damage.
What's going on? I don't know. Hey! Just a line of, like an almost laser-like line of light just fires out from you, casting all of you in quite a lot of light quite quickly. And the giants
briefly, because I'm not holding concentration on it.
Yes, but the giants get a chance to... pointing wildly at the group of you as 2 trolls behind just go from behind.
For reference, it would be like the sun suddenly emerging and then going out. So they wouldn't. It would be blinding.
Oh, they still can't see you. They don't know where you are, but they have seen you. So they're now aware that there are, 10 odd people running across the top of the water. They understand that now as a concept. Cool. So the sunbeam just blasts out and hits 2 of the trolls. 24, did you say?
Yes, hard 12.
The trolls behind you now have also seen you and they know what direction to go in. The frost giants are both going to try and chuck rocks at you. They are throwing at random. They're throwing at the group, and we'll see how that goes in a minute. They are rolling with disadvantage as they don't really know where you are. They know sort of where you are, but they're sort of range finding at the same time.
Do you want to roll at who they're rolling at first? Because we've all got different ACs.
That is a very good point. Cool. So Viktor is there. Milk is there. Prosp'rus is there. Ashra's there. Kenna's there. Aspen's there. Cyrus is there. 3 skeletons are there. And the elk is there.
Don't you kill my elk.
That's 11 different things, am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's more than that.
10.
Is it 10 different things?
Away.
I think it's 11 of us.
Melio's out of the way, and also I'm not going to have a rock randomly smash your familiar. That would be cruel. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think it's 11 including Ivy.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 including the elk. So I'll roll a 12-sided dice first, and if it hits a 12, they'll just miss entirely. We'll do that. It's 11. It's going to hit the elk.
No.
Which has people on it.
Elk.
The skeleton's on it.
It's all right. Though, if it hits, I have to roll the attack roll now. Oh, that's a 12 to hit the elk?
No, I think... Yeah, no, its AC is 10. It still has 13 hit points.
Yeah, the rock does 4d10 plus 6.
I can't believe you said to Red, I'm not going to hit your familiar, and then you threw a rock at my elk.
You can resummon your elk.
He can resummon Melanoe.
Your elk's funnier. 10, 20 points of damage.
Yeah, the elk returns to the Fey plane from whence it came.
As it passes
the
through,
skeleton.
The skeleton starts floating, presumably.
There is a splash, and Cyrus is picking himself up off the water. Now, because the way water works, it's not like the water's hard. It's you sort of land and then sink a bit and float up a bit, so you can't.
Could he grab some of the kit?
Yes, he can grab the kit. The kit is floating as well. Nothing you had was that heavy. It's not like the elk goes and then everything just hits the deck. The elk goes and a lot of the kit, but Cyrus starts scrambling around grabbing kit. Your skeleton is currently swimming gamely in the water, George.
Good. This is a good outcome.
The skeleton's speed will be slower than everyone else's.
Yeah, we can fix that.
Okay. But yes, the skeleton is currently gamely, and Cyrus is picking up bits off the floor, so you won't lose any of your equipment, but it does mean that everyone is slightly more weighed down. The second frost giant, having now range found all of you, is going to try again to hit someone. That is a 12 on the d12. The second boulder goes wide and splashes into the water nearby. You're all sort of standing on the water's surface, rolling around a little bit. Your skeleton, Georges.
I suppose out of all of the outcomes, that was probably the best one, but I'm still cross.
In the distance, you can hear a whole bunch of other giants shouting, and they're also going to chuck rocks, but they're so far away. Some snowballs fly towards you, but they're way too far out to get a good bead on you, and there's no way they can hit. I won't sort of give them multiple disadvantages. That's silly. Right, back top of initiative. Ivy, you are on the island with these two giants. They have both taken hits from the party. They are starting to get a sense of where the party is, but they are currently not that badly hurt, and also just trying to get a sense of what's going on. You're on the same space as them. They don't know that you're there. The party are about 60 feet away out on the water. What would you like to do?
I want to do something really stupid.
Do it.
The chance of us, like, if I popped up with the party and cast Pass Without Trace, the option of sneaking is gone, right?
You could roll stealth checks with... You are currently still hidden, so you could roll stealth checks. I will say that because of the amount of movement currently required, you'd have to move at half speed, which would slow you down, and there are things in the water that are faster than you, and there would be disadvantage rolls because they're sort of aware that you're there. So it's not going to be easy for anyone to hide at this point, no.
And at the moment, there's these two frost giants and other people coming towards us, but
There are
no one
trolls
else
behind.
directly. So how many trolls?
Oh, loads.
But none of them are quite in combat with us yet.
None of them are within 30 feet of the party yet.
So if we take out the giants and run, cool. Ivy's gonna hit a giant.
Okay.
I would like to teleport right behind one so I get advantage when I hit.
Yes, please do. You shadow step and disappear and reappear behind one of them.
Yes, and I haven't thrown a punch in a while. Let me remind myself how that works.
Cool. Rock them and stop them.
So, well, that was an 18, so 27 to hit.
Yeah, you hit the giant.
Good. And I get 2 attacks as my first. That's a nat 20.
Cool.
Nice.
Boom. You appear behind the giant out of the shadows, which is kind of weird because it's standing next to a torch, but it itself has a big shadow. So you basically step out of its own shadow and kidney shot it twice. And the first one impacts, the second one you definitely punch through, and you can almost feel the kidney impact. It's just a right in there.
Very cool.
I can see
So,
that.
starters, that is 24 points of damage.
Cool. That giant sort of stumbles forward slightly, 2 massive hits to the side.
Can I try and stunning strike?
Of course you can.
Thank you. I'll try it on the first one. If that doesn't work, I might try it again. So that is a whole
hang on.
key point. Oh, what have I done?
Well, giants, frost giants in particular, have an exceptional con saving throw. It's a +8. However, I have rolled a 7, so that's only a 15.
That is my DC!
Oh, sorry.
Can I try once more?
Of course.
Thanks, because I feel like short rest might be coming on at some point.
That's a 4 on the dice, yeah. As you kidney shot the giant, it's a boom, and then the kidney shot, the giant steps forward and just collapses forward with that kind of look of, I'm not getting up for a bit. Just down, like, not quite on knees, but just leaning forward, looking absolutely raggedy wrecked. That is that giant is now stunned.
How poorly is it looking?
Not especially.
Okay. I'm going to flurry of blows for my bonus action.
Same one?
Blah, 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 blah.
You could use movement to get to the other one.
I could. Yes, I don't know whether that's more likely to make it hit me. In that case, I won't flurry of blows. Can I, with the stunned giant in between us, try and duck down and hide?
You can't roll another stealth check.
Okay.
You can be physically behind that giant in terms of its body seeing you for cover, but it won't be enough for them not to know that you're there.
Great. I will aim for cover then.
Grand, you do.
Thanks.
Ivy, that is your turn. Ash, at the start of your turn, is everyone still running? Can we assume everyone is still moving for 30 feet? Because you could, by this point, you can be sort of halfway round the side of this island. Looking behind...
Would we have clocked that Ivy has now got into combat with
Yes, you can see this.
A giant just randomly fell over.
Ahead, you're moving at least 40 feet distance from the side of the island because that's the range in which light falls. So you're staying out of the light.
We don't know Ivy's plan. We don't know that we need to get to the other giant. If Ivy's decided that we need to kill these frost giants, then clearly we need to kill the frost giants. Yeah. So I'm going to go towards the frost giants.
Okay. In which case... I think we can make this work, yeah. In which case, you can use your movement. You're at least 40 feet away from the frost giant because of terrain and light.
Currently, or if I move?
If you move with everyone else, we will stay at 40 feet parabola outside of the light because you're all staying outside of the light at the moment. Otherwise, they'll get to attack you with impunity.
Head for Ivy. I have an idea.
Oh.
Oh.
Do you all head for Ivy?
Let's find out.
Do you mean all of us, Ash, or do you mean just me?
I think so, yeah. I think sticking together is a good plan.
Okay. In which case, do you all run into the light and run towards Ivy?
Yep.
And the frost giants?
Yep.
Trying to angle, if we're not going to get into combat this turn, trying to angle in such a way that I can get them both in a line.
You can do that. That is fine.
Great.
In which case, will everyone's movement be 30 feet towards into the light, so you are visible, but 30 feet towards Ivy and the giant she's currently attacking, so that you're in a line?
Well, they don't need to be. They don't need to get
you
them
can
in a
all
line.
move together. It makes sense for you all to move together.
Line.
If you start spreading out now, it's going to get into a really complex combat scenario. Do you all want to stay together? It makes more sense for you to stay together. If you start spreading out wildly, then it's going to...
How far into the light are we going?
30 feet.
Is it? Okay. Then yeah, sure.
Cool. In which case, everyone is moving roughly 30 feet forward to get both these giants in a line so you can do your sunbeam. So everyone's moving together for that to be something that happens. That is fine. Ashra has a plan. Once they go 30 feet, you are 10 feet away from Ivy and the giant effectively, Ashra, and the other one is about 50 feet away. You have an action. What would you like to do?
Yeah, for my bonus action as well. How many skeletons does it take to carry a skeleton?
I will say that your two can use if you use your bonus action, tell them what to do, can pick up their buddy and they can sort of fireman's lift the other skeleton out of the water and away.
I just don't want to be left behind or slow down or slow us down.
No, not at all.
What I want to do, and it might be best next turn if we're not on the island yet, but what I want to do is I want us to be seen, and I want all of everything that's going to head to us, that's going to head for us, and I want to put up a big old wall of force between us and them. It's only got because of the area it can cover, having that focal point is useful, and just hopefully having a screen that they can bounce off and take a little while to figure out where it goes to and how to get around it.
What is the range on a wall of force? Well, how big a wall can you make?
the range is comfortable, but it's the only thing more fun than D&D maths is D&D geometry. It is 10 by 10 feet panels or a dome. Oh, a dome. No.
So you can make a 100-foot long, 10-foot high wall.
Or it can be a square, it can be a rectangle. I probably want to put it so I want to make it wide enough that they might be fooled into thinking that it goes all the way. And particularly if they're heading for us at this focal point, that they're going to run into it if they're heading by the island as the most direct route. I can't cover all the way underwater. I can't make it super high. I can't make it all the way width, but I want to just try and maximize the confoundingness of it.
Okay. George, if you will allow, I can help you a bit with this.
Go for it.
Because we're not using maps and minis, if we say what it is, we can say what it is, and I'm fine with that. Things in water tend to be able to check down, but not able to check up.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah,
and it's very hard to climb over a wall of force for exactly that reason.
The trolls do little dolphin leaps, though. Like, in the movies.
If you make the wall, if you make the wall 20 foot high, but 15 foot of it is below the surface of the water, swimming down and around will be difficult for them, and they'll struggle to find it. That would make the wall 50 foot wide, which encompasses the entirety of this island.
Great.
Which means I will then allow the trolls to roll intelligence checks, which
they'll figure it out eventually, but
it will give you some time. You will buy exactly the kind of time.
By making it visible in one place, that's what I was hoping, is to kind of bottleneck them to go, oh, they're over there, and try and move through that point and go, oh, what?
As you all run into the light, the trolls will, hey, over there! Some of you don't speak giant. And as you all run across the surface of the water towards the troll, Ash, you turn around and cast your wall of force.
I pull off my what's it called, brooch, and start. It looks like I'm sort of pulling blowing glass, but pulling it out of the out of the brooch and sort of in the panels, and it's invisible when it lands, and it's kind of has a moment where it has that kind of luminous edge, slight green to it, and then vanishes into this solid wall.
Cool.
Invisible force.
Ooh. Very, very cool.
Very cool.
You do, and the two giants, the other giant on the island, the other one sees you and just turns around and just like starts heading up. It hasn't actually moved its D&D turns, but it's going to. You're now fighting two giants, but the trolls behind you hear shouts and they've seen you because you moved into the light, but they're also about to encounter a wall of force. So we'll see how that goes. Lovely stuff. Okay, everyone else is moving with. Kenna has also moved with everyone and is going to fire another longbow shot at the stunned giant. Seems a good opportunity as any. And that's 2 16s. No improved crit, so it's just a hit with a 19. So D8 plus 1. 6 points of damage. And she is going to swap over to her sword and shield, give herself slightly better AC, as she moves across and is now heading towards this giant that is stunned. Lovely. Viktor, you're moving with everyone else. You're also within 10 feet of this one giant and within 50 feet of this other giant. What would you like to do? They're in a line.
I think what I'd like to do is cast a spiritual weapon at 4th level. And I'd like to cast... It's a big old shashka.
Yeah, but this time it's bigger and sharper and just glowing more. Like,
more shashka.
It's more shashka. It's just this gigantic blade. Which one's it going for? The one that's stunned or the one that's coming over the hill? Coming over the ice hill?
The one that's stunned for now.
Is it a monster?
And then I
No, it's a giant.
slowly begin to move it, depending on how well it does.
Okay.
But I'd like to cast that, and I'd like to roll to hit the stunned giant.
Cool. You roll advantage because it's stunned.
Maths, sorry.
It's all right.
19.
That hits, yes.
Yeah, and that is 2d8 plus 3. 7 to 9 plus 3 is 12.
Cool.
Yes.
Your shashka appears, and it's bigger and chunkier than it was last time.
Is it a shashkara?
A shashka, yeah.
Shashkarest? Like more so. I mean, more.
Hang on, because it goes up in 2s. So a 2nd level spiritual weapon is a shashka, 4th level is a shashkara, 6th level is a shashkaest, and 8th level is the ultimate shashka. But yes, this bigger than last time sword, single bladed, just leaps out of existence and cuts through the giant, looking quite badly hurt. Is it going to stay next to someone, or is it going to move towards the other one?
I trust you all to get on with that, so I think I'm then just going to move it. And is that my bonus action to move it 20 feet?
Your bonus action was to cast, attack, and move, because the first round of spiritual weapon is a maze. So, chong, and then it just like turns and just points towards the other giant, just like lances towards it. It just coming over the top, just like you can see. It's still a frost giant. It's still got sentience. It's still like a relatively smarter, but you can see they have teeth and claws, and they look really violent. Like these frost giants, there's definitely something wrong with them. And this one stepping over the top, you can see the troll-like features just like it's angry, but also confused.
Could they be corrupted? Perhaps.
Interestingly, it's a different kind of corruption, or is it both?
That's the answer, is that they are corrupted. I'd like to then move towards the other giant. The sword, that is, not me.
Yes. And then on your action, you still have an action.
Still an action, goodness me.
Spiritual weapon's crazy good.
Yeah, goodness. I think I'm just going to attack with the crossbow and divine strike again.
Cool. As you're running up, you're 10 feet away, you just...
Why not? That is a non-nat 20.
Well, that hits.
With divine strike, so that is... Oh, not great. Only 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. Every little helps. You're chipping away at this frost giant, who now starting to look quite badly hurt as well. So you are managing to chip away quite resolutely at the frost giant. Aspen, who is running with everyone, is going to move forward as if to run into combat with the giant, and is going to be like fists at the ready to lay some smack down, but doesn't get there in time. So is just running with everyone else. Fists out. Milk, you're running with everyone else. 2 frost giants. In a line if you need them to be.
I got the sense that the second one was 50 feet away. Is that right?
Correct.
Do I have that correct? Okay. And the first one is stunned. So in that case, I will just lock and load my handy Eldritch Blasts, and I'm going to try and point both at the stunned one while it's...
Cool. You get advantage on the attack roll, because it's stunned.
Oh, do I? Okay. Oh. That's 2 28s.
Well, they both hit.
Okay. That's 16 in total.
Yeah. You fire off 2 shots. This frost, they're sacks of hit points, but this one is just looking awful. Like, it just got kidney shotted and is sort of... and then suddenly like gets hammered by various things from various angles and is looking mighty badly hurt. Cyrus running up alongside is going to take another shot with the heavy crossbow. No, it's not very high. It's 13. Misses. Goes flying off and misses, but is also running forward and is going to drop the crossbow and pull out his axe. The trolls from behind are swimming full bore and have now seen you and have now realised something is up and are swimming full bore towards you. They won't get to the wall of force on this turn, but there are still a lot of them coming, and 2 that were sunbeamed. They're healing back the damage that you did very quickly. Like, these trolls just keep on coming, and they are just swimming through the water very, very quickly, but they haven't reached you yet, and they haven't reached the wall of force yet either, because they were quite far behind. Lovely. Prosp'rus.
Oh, already?
Yep, that's everyone.
Oh, okay. I'm 10 feet away from them.
You are 10 feet away from a really badly hurt giant, and the other one is coming up from behind.
Well, I shall cast Sunbeam again at both of them. Boom.
Both in a line, no problem.
I think I do say boom, and I also go, and I glare at whichever one of them it was that threw the rock and go, you killed my elk.
Boom, you killed my elk.
Yeah.
And you don't speak giant?
Nope.
The frost giant has no comprehension.
It has not occurred to me
like boom is a universal word.
that they do not understand you killed my elk.
Right. They do make con saves, and I'm pretty sure that stunned means that they...
Doesn't have any effect on con saves.
Okay. So it's +8 on each. 16 is the lowest.
Yes, they both save, but they will take 23 halved.
23 halved is 11 points of damage each.
Yes. And then I stand there. I'll do it next turn. I'll just stand there glaring at them.
Well, because D&D combat is you're frozen in movement. Like, you're just running forward. Boom! You killed my elk, and then just running in, ready to hit.
I shall just glare.
Cool.
Who goes next?
Ivy goes next.
Do the frost giants go before Ivy?
Sorry, the frost giants go next. One stops being stunned, and the other's going to come over the top of the hill.
Is Ivy within 30 feet?
Yes.
I'll cast Sanctuary on Ivy.
Lovely. So you run up, boom, say boom, shout at one of the giants who doesn't understand you, and then reach out. And Ivy, you're behind this giant, but you are the closest target to it, and it is coming over the top of the hill to run down and do some damage. But you, Prosp'rus, how does your sanctuary take effect?
Wait, hang on. Did Aspen run into combat with the giant as well?
Aspen is at the same place that all of you are. None of you are ahead of each other.
Okay, fine, yes. It's just like a brief shimmering around Ivy, and then...
Ivy, you briefly shimmer. You know what? You were trying to be in cover, and now it's really obvious where you are. Fuck's
briefly,
sake.
Very briefly. Ivy knows it happened. No one else does.
Oh, okay. The frost giant is tearing over the top of the hill. Is going to tear past your spiritual weapon. Does it get attacks of opportunity?
No,
It doesn't.
they don't.
It's not a creature.
Then it tears past the gigantic Shashka and is going to, the Shashkara, and is going to leap at Ivy to try and claw.
It has to make a wisdom saving throw to attack Ivy.
I already have disadvantage on being attacked. This is great.
That is a 15 on the whiz save.
No, it must choose a new target or lose the attack.
Wow.
Well, it's not going to attack its buddy, is it?
In range.
And it hasn't got enough range to hit anyone else.
Sweet.
It just
Thanks,
leaps
Prosp'rus.
up at you, Ivy, and then just stops right in front. Just doesn't quite know why it can't strike, but it can't. Fuck Sanctuary.
That's
Good,
nice.
right. That's a really good move. I hate
Great.
it. Ivy, it is your turn. There is a new frost giant. The other one is no longer stunned. It is now getting up like, oh!
It gets
you
us
speak
at the
giant.
end of my turn.
Oh, it's still stunned then. What you can hear on your turn is it going, oh, my kidneys.
Right. If I hit anything, does Sanctuary go away? Do
Yes.
I know this?
Yeah, but it's,
Do I know
it's-
this?
But it's fine. I knew that it was they go before you, so it was intentionally just for that turn.
Okay. I should have done this before. I want to see what darkness does, because there might still be a way of escaping.
Darkness, no one can see through it. Literally no one, apart from Milk, if he's taken the right Eldritch Invocation, which I don't think he has. No.
And there's too many baddies for me to... It's only a 15-foot radius sphere.
The Wall of
so
Force will work
30-foot diameter.
Yeah.
Yep, so I couldn't put it in between us and them. That's not
You
worth it.
could potentially encompass the Wall of Force, which would mean that you wouldn't get any attacks this round, but you're still sanctuaried. But in the same vein, the trolls would have even more trouble trying to find their way to this sodding island and find you. I'd give them even more disadvantage on this.
Is there such a thing as more disadvantage?
Well, currently they have to roll intelligence checks to see if they have to. They currently have to roll intelligence checks to work out about the Wall of Force when they get to it, which hasn't happened yet. When they do get to it, if they can't see it, then any perception checks may be a disadvantage.
Okay. And then we could all put ourselves on the right side of it and run.
Yes.
Ivy thinks to herself very quickly with no advice from anyone else, because that would be metagaming. New class who dis. I will do that, because Sanctuary sounds nice.
Yeah.
I will use my action to cast darkness around the Wall of Force. So it is. I have a 60-foot range to do it, and then it makes a 30-foot diameter sphere.
Okay. How do you cast darkness? Because you don't tend to cast spells. When you do, it
No, I
tends to be just on
don't.
you. What does darkness look like for you? Does it is it the beginnings of the really, really creepy stuff?
I think anyone who was close enough would see the almost invisible tattoo on the back of Ivy's neck start to just ooze ink that spreads across the back of her neck into shadows and then bleeds into the shadows that then form the darkness.
Okay. That
Plot
happens.
twist.
All sounds fine.
As you all look at Ivy doesn't start punching the giants all round her. She turns. Do your eyes go black as well?
Yeah, of course, the pupils start bleeding.
Ivy turns and looks towards where the trolls are coming, and suddenly black ink just drips out of the corners of the eye and off the back of her neck, and the shadows around the wall, it's already dark there, just seem to get thicker and denser, and you can just about see the trolls swimming into the light trying to get to you, and suddenly you can't see anything beyond where you just came from. It's oozy, thick, dark blackness. It's a little disconcerting.
And then, I think as a bonus action, I would like to teleport off this island where I'm fighting some giants by myself to the party.
You will land in the water.
Are they on... Oh, darn it, they can all walk on water. There's no elk to land on. Can I just land on Cyrus and hope that he goes with it?
Sure, of course you can.
Are they... hang on, are they not near any chunks, icebergs?
They're within 10
Nothing
feet
at
of the
all?
one you're on. Go on, jump on, land on Cyrus. Please do, just for me, if no one else.
Okay, yes. Oof. Cyrus, bleeding ink.
What's going on? Cyrus
If
is...
this counts as an attack, by the way, Cyrus does still have sanctuary.
So do I, it's fine.
Cyrus has attacked multiple times,
cancels
so
out.
I don't think it would. Right, Cyrus is going to make a strength saving throw.
Oh, +5.
Rolled a nat 20. Just grabs hold of you, drops the axe, which plunk, hits the water, just goes.
Oh, no.
Grabs
Lost
hold
his
of
axe.
Yes, fine. Grabs hold of you and goes, you alright?
Hi, sorry, I didn't want to drown, so I hope this was okay.
Totally fair, neither do I.
Great, cool. I'll touch things if they come near you.
You're now perched on top of Cyrus, a little mobile battle platform, just ready, bleeding ink. Oh, it's disconcerting as all hell. Right, good.
Hello.
Ash,
Ivy.
again, party movement. I will now say, if you like, that you can run into initiative to... You can decide not to move to engage frost giants or not. So everyone's movement is now their own. So Ash, you're currently on the water, 10 feet out, and ahead of you are 2 frost giants. They are within 10 feet of the party, but there's a lot of space behind them if you want to try and hit them both with something. There's none of your buddies in direct melee contact with them.
I will say we shouldn't linger. I've bought us time, as it seems has Ivy, but it will not hold them indefinitely. And I'm not going to say I know myself, but I'm going to take the dodge action because I want to make sure that Wall of Force stays up, because I cannot recast it. And I will move towards the edge of the island, in the
Skirting around combat, just getting out of the way.
As I need to. Yeah,
totally fine. You are moving out of the way. Kenna is going to look at Ivy's display, look back, look forward, and just run in and attack. And is going to run in and attack the giant that looks most badly hurt. Yep. Let's check the ACs because I have to roll against myself. Great.
Ivy, did you find anything? Did you find the giant?
Look,
Yes.
your partner's running in. Rah! He's there going, Ivy, hello.
Ash has just said we should go. I'm just checking.
She rolls a 17 to hit, which I think just breaks their AC.
Oh, the giants. What are they wearing?
AC is 15. Yeah. And that is a D8 plus, hang on, longsword one-handed, D8 plus 2, 8 points of damage. She just runs in screaming and attacks one of the frost giants and is now by herself attacking frost giants, 2 of them. Oh, no, that's not to get off her hit points. That's wrong.
Don't do that.
Yeah, the frost giant who was kidney shotted and looks really badly hurt now looks even more badly hurt. Good, and Kenna is now in melee with both of them. Viktor.
Oh, Kenna.
Hello. Oh, goodness. Remind me how the stunned giant is looking, sorry.
The stunned giant is very, very, very badly hurt and looks like on last legs. The other one has not taken much damage and looks fine.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to move my spiritual weapon another 20 feet towards the other giant.
So which one do you want to attack? The one that's like last legs or the one that is not really been hit that much yet?
I'm going to use my bonus action to attack the unhurt giant. I'm going to use my normal attack to attack the one that is on its last legs.
What are you going to attack the one on its last legs with? Your crossbow? You're going to stay 10 feet out?
Just crossbow, because then I want to save a spiritual weapon for the other fella.
Cool. So your spiritual weapon flies in and you shoot a crossbow, so you're attacking both of them effectively. So
yes.
Attack the spiritual weapon first. No one is stunned now, so it's just flat attack rolls.
All right, so with my crossbow, that is 23 to hit.
Yes. Roll me the damage on that.
Will do. With Divine Strike.
Yeah, of course.
8 points of damage.
8. It's not down yet, but it is looking very, very badly hurt now.
Oh, I'm not an attacky person. And then the other with Spiritual Weapon, that is... maths, goodness. 25 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
And that is 12 points of damage.
Cool. They are both taking hits. The other one's starting to look it's not half health or anything, but it looks like it's been hit a few times.
No one can say that they didn't take hits this round from me.
Aspen is going to run into the injured one and is going to start punching it. Yep.
She kills a frost giant. She's going to be insufferable, isn't she?
She rolled a 2, so she's not going to.
I mean, if you can kill one of them, I can see what I can do about the other one.
God. She rolls really badly on her 2 attacks and just runs in and she tries to hit the frost giant, but it's really big, and she and Kenna are now by themselves.
Oh my God, what are they
front
doing?
Next to the 2 giants, just trying to hurt and hit them. Milk, it is your turn.
Just side-eyeing towards Prosp'rus. I got 2 options, Prosp'rus. I can either try and nail the ill one, or I can suggestion the healthy one and see if I can neutralize it until then still need to.
Do you have any spell slots?
You reckon you can take the big one? I have that one because I'm a tiefling. I don't have any spell slots left. I have one of those suggestion.
I mean, I reckon try and kill the other one, and I will. You kill the less healthy one, and I'll try and kill the big one.
The crap out of the other one. Amazing. In that case, I will lock and load, and I will double smash the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The one that looks a little bit sickly.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Do I still have advantage?
No, it's not stunned anymore.
Okay. This. That's an 18.
That hits, yes.
And the second last. Oh, it's 27.
Yeah, you both Eldritch Blasts. You're within 10 feet. You're very close. Hard to miss at that range.
It's 20 damage total.
Yes, you tear 2 holes in reality that tear towards it, and the first hole in reality just rips its neck open, and it just falls over, rolls on the ground, and just is just bleeding into the water and looks it's dead, gone, torn to shreds. Lovely. Bonus action for you?
No, I have nothing useful to do. I'll just look smug.
Cyrus is going to look up at you, Ivy, and go, forward, backward, what do you want to do?
Aspen just decided to run at Giant by herself, didn't she?
Yep.
Let's go. Get her.
All right.
That's okay.
Just going to run forward with you on his shoulders into combat, but doesn't have a weapon anymore, so is just going to stand there with you like...
Well, hang on, Cyrus. Why don't you wait, and then when it's my turn, I can hop off, run, fight, and come back. If you're happy to be my, island.
No, he's run forward and is taking the dodge action.
Good.
And you currently have a mobile dwarf battle platform.
I'll run with it. Let's go.
He rolled a very, very good strength save. He's just... right, the trolls get to their movement. They are going to come swimming through... You can't see any of this. Trolls come swimming through the water and... you probably hear a slight arcane
Is it like the zapping sound of one of those bug lights that catches us?
And they have all impacted the wall. Bring on the wall! They're going to try and work out what's going on. What's your spell save DC, Ivy?
17. Oh, sorry, yeah.
15.
You hear a bunch of trolls making angry noises. They can't see, they have no idea what they're impacting, and they can't find a way around it.
Right.
Yet.
Nice one.
It's just a mess. Prosp'rus, 1 giant is down, 1 is still standing.
I'm going to run to the one that's still standing.
Yep.
I'm going to bonus action cast Blinding Smite.
Yep.
Sweet.
Then I'm going to attack it twice.
Yep.
With my scythe.
Yep.
Don't let me down, dice. One of those is a natural 1. So
Shame.
that
One miss.
did let me down, dice. The other one is a 24,
Well, that hits.
which I'll also cast a 3rd level smite on.
Okay.
So that is
Here comes the paladin damage.
that's 3d8 from
Paladin
blinding. I need to make a con saving throw. That's 3d8 from blinding smite. Plus
16.
no, that fails. It is blinded. Plus another. What's that? 4d8. So that's 5. What? Oh my god.
1d8 for your damage. It's 1d8
No,
for your...
no. It's no d8s for my damage.
Oh.
3d8s for blinding smite.
3d8 for blinding smite.
2 for normal divine smite.
2
Then
for a normal...
another. So 7d8s.
7d8.
1,
George's
2,
expression.
3,
Paladins.
4, 5, 6, 7.
It's 8.
Wow, that's a lot of ones. Right, so that's 25 on the d8s.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's 32, add 6. That's 38 points of damage.
38 points of damage.
And it is blinded.
And it is blinded.
And I only hit once,
How long
which
is
is
it blinded
really
for?
irritating. Until it rolls a save.
You run up and just, there's this glowing, again, the scythe glows and there's just sort of, as it,
The scythe is not going. I haven't activated my channel divinity.
different scythe glowing, but yes, and it just, like, the judge just stumbles back, clawing at its own face. When does it get to roll?
Until the spell ends, or on the end of each of its turns.
And you're concentrating on the spell.
I'm concentrating on the spell.
Cool, it's going to try and attack you, but it can't see you, so it's with disadvantage.
Yes.
Good luck.
The first is a 21.
Oh, yes, that hits.
I retract my good luck.
Second is a 22, I'm sorry.
Yes,
It's very
they
good
both hit.
attacks. Even while blinded, it is flailing around wildly and is going to strike out at Prosp'rus because you're right there. It's the easiest thing to hit. Plus 6, that's 27 on the first.
Right, my first con save. My first con save was a 17, so it holds.
Yes.
Second con save is a 22.
Yeah, I just rolled 38 points of damage on the second hit. So 27 and 38, they're both big old hits.
Oh, I still maintain concentration on the spell. It's still blinded.
Unbelievable. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
I am down to 20 hit points, though.
Yeah, it can't see, and it's just wildly clawing, and at the end of its turn, it makes another con save. That's a 10.
Still blinded.
So it's just clawing away wildly, and it does impact you heavily with 2 major hits from its claws.
Everyone now has advantage on attack rolls against it because it is blind.
Yep. But with 2 major hits on you, it still can't see. It's flailing around wildly, and it can't see anything at all. It looks very badly hurt as well from that ridiculous hit as well. Cool. Ivy, it is your turn.
Mm-hmm.
The trolls currently can't get through the darkness wall of force combo, and this giant is blind.
I suggest that we maybe run away now while it's blind.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the running away. Aspen's got out.
Aspen is not in...
It can't. I don't think it can take
Attacks
attacks of opportunity because it's blind.
You have to be able to see it.
Oh, sons of...
Yep. Against the
Fine.
creatures you can see.
Fine, in which case, if you
Great.
all want to run, you can run 60 feet. Cyrus cannot run 60 feet, but if someone else takes Ivy and someone else takes Cyrus...
Well, I can hop off Cyrus, run, and hop back on if I hold my movement until Cyrus's turn.
No, it's fine. We'll take it out of initiative. Is someone going to grab hold of Cyrus and carry him?
I can pull Cyrus.
Yeah.
Cool. Between Viktor and Prosp'rus, you can carry and you won't slow down your movement. And Ivy's already strong enough with the ability to jump between islands. So I'm going to say, to make our lives easy, you all start to run. Just peg it, everyone. Everyone's water walking, apart from the skeleton that's being carried by the other 2 skeletons. And Cyrus can water walk, but he's
Ivy.
slow.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
And Ivy is doing the running like onto the water and then teleporting, waiting, like making sure you keep everyone up. And you are moving forward at quite some pace. From behind you, as you all run 60 feet, I'm just going to do some rolls here. Unbelievable. I've given myself a DC for these trolls to work out how to get past this. And because they have a -2 intelligence, none of them are hitting it. Because they have disadvantage, they can't see. Trolls are stuck, can't do shit. You still hear from the wall of force, and you just hear, like, in Giant, and Red, you understand Giant, and so do you, Ivy, you hear, oh, come on! At which point the Giant is going to try and shake off the blindness. That is a non-natural 20.
Yes, it is no longer blind.
Cool.
But we are 60 feet away.
You are, so it doesn't matter, it can throw rocks.
That's the end of its turn. It saves at the end of its turn.
120 feet! Run!
As you keep running, you can see ahead of you there is a frost giant standing on one of these islands, but she is very clearly not like the others. And Ivy, if you can shout, you can talk, it's fine. As you run forward, you can see this frost giant ahead of you is gesturing for you to come this way and shouts in Giant. And Ivy, Milk, you understand this. Ivy, remember our deal.
Yes. As she says this, I will call out to the party. This is Threema. She's nice. Do what she says. Don't go in their shrine. It's holy. We promised.
Which bit is their shrine?
The bit she's standing by. The holy-looking bit.
It's an igloo.
The igloo.
Got it.
As you are all running forward, the giant has now saved and can roll attacks with disadvantage, but also can't see you very well because the light's shit. I'm going to do what I did last time and roll and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ways to?
George, what are your skeletons DC? AC, sorry?
Their ACs, not great. 13.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah. A boulder comes flying out and is going to smash into one of your skeletons.
They might survive.
8, 9, 18, 22 plus 6. 28 points of damage.
Nope. As in, yeah, that does it.
Cool. A boulder comes flying out, and one of your skeletons is impacted heavily by this rock and just scatters, like the bones just... Poof. The one that's being held up is still being held up by the other, but they are now slightly slower unless you go and help.
Can I... How far away is the giant at this point?
About 120 feet.
Let's see what we got here. I would like to first and foremost target the giant with something. Just as a... I'm just going to yell.
He will slow you down. Everyone is dashing at the moment.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
It's Ashra just... Fuck. And I think the only thing I've got that really... I'm gonna lob a fireball because that's the appropriate response to what just happened.
Okay.
At fourth spell slot. It doesn't really make enough of a difference. Third level. So giant, please make a dexterity saving throw. DC 17.
Mm-hmm. That is a 13.
That's it's a fail, and it's a pretty good roll on the damage. It is 32.
Ooh. Ooh. It's still standing. Just. There is a massive explosion. Ash has fallen behind by 30 feet. Are your skeletons still running? Have you bonus action them to keep running, basically?
The two that are still... Well, which one went down? Is it the one that... Is it one of the ones that can water walk?
One of the ones that can water walk is down, so the other is dragging the other one.
I'll have the other one keep moving, and I'll go on. I'll catch up, and I'll spend as much time as I can grabbing as much of the remains as I can.
If Ashra has stopped running, I'll go back and... If this is obviously important to you and it's going to stop you from coming, I will help.
Frantic. Okay, that's great.
So,
yeah.
Okay, is everyone else still running?
Whatever I can.
No, I think we'll stop and...
Prosp'rus and I can catch up. Keep going. Or you can do that. It's fine. Yeah.
Are people staying or are they going?
I'm going to hurl an Eldritch Blast at the giant.
You're 120 feet away. You still can. That's fine. Go for it. That does mean that you're slowed by 30 feet as well.
22 twice.
Yeah, they both hit.
Might die soon, and then we can just relax.
I mean, I might die soon.
Also true. 17.
Oh, it's just still standing, but the two hits are quite resounding, and it does sort of stumble back a little bit. I'm not going to roll for all the fucking trolls again. I'm just going to do one roll. Trolls are still not coming through. They have no idea how to get through this mess. It's just, darkness and wall of force. Good combo. Anyway, the giant. If you two stay here, is everyone else still running, still going?
I can genuinely catch Prosp'rus and I up quickly. So it's up to you though, people.
Okay, Victor, are you still running?
Yeah, very much so.
Ivy, are you still running? I mean, you can't
Yes.
really stop, so...
Yeah.
Milk, are you still running?
Well, I paused to do that after that, but I'll otherwise keep going.
Cool. So you're slightly further behind, but that's fine. Most of you keep running. Prosp'rus and
I'll start
Ash...
using my cloak as like a sort of filter to...
Let's make our lives easy. Ash, can you roll Perception's better for you, isn't it? Roll a perception check with advantage as Prosp'rus is helping you, and we'll see how much you manage to collect.
Prosp'rus.
This is not so much a do I succeed on, it's how much of this skeleton do I collect.
It's an 18 total.
Yeah, you managed to find most of it. You're probably missing a couple of smaller bones like metatarsals and...
I can make it work.
Great. You managed to collect most of your skeleton, and then the two of you are running again.
No, we're not. How far are we behind actually? Because I can.
By this point, because the whole action's gone, you're about 60 feet behind the bulk of people.
I should probably just burn the spell slot for the sake of it. Why not?
Cinematic, go for it.
Yeah, I'll turn to Prosp'rus and slightly choked up. Just thank you, and I'll put a hand on your shoulder and dimension door us to as close as possible to to Threema, if however far I can get us. I'll put us ahead of the
500
group if
feet. I
necessary.
mean, it's very far. So
Yeah.
And both of you teleport out. As you are running, the giant's going to make one more throw because it's still alive, and I want to. It's a disadvantage roll already, but some of you are still within range of it. Prosp'rus and Ashra notably are not. Milk, Viktor, Ivy, 3 NPCs, 2 skeletons. Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
What is your AC?
Ivy hasn't made any attack rolls, so it would
I
still
am
need to
still
roll a
sanctuaried.
wisdom check to attack Ivy.
Love you, Prosp'rus.
It's a 3.
It has to choose a different target.
It will
It's higher than 3.
choose a different bloody target, and it misses altogether. Fuck's sake! A snowball flies out and splashes into the water, and you all get to keep running. You're now out of range of it. As you all keep running, and as you've dimension doored to the place where Threema basically is, Threema sort of looks slightly surprised at the wizard and the paladin just appearing out of nowhere, and sort of gives you a kind of like nice like eyebrow, and then starts casting a spell. Those of you that are running, the ground beneath your feet starts to change. It is an illusion, and you can feel it's not real because you can run straight through it. But it looks like there's a wave forming beneath you that sort of rises up. And as it rises up, it freezes. So it is sort of creating this beautiful, gigantic, 120-foot high wall of ice that is just enclosing off this half of the lake. It's an illusion, but from the giant that's still just alive just sees this gigantic wall of ice growing out up to the tops of this space, and it is taking up most of the space in its entirety. Threema, your friends are still running through it. Like, you can see it happening around you, but it's an illusion. You can pass straight through it. Threema looks at the two of you and says something in giant.
Let's exchange a look with Prosp'rus.
No, I can't. I try Orcish. Do you speak?
She just ignores you and
Okay.
gets off into the water and starts swimming. You can see there's passages out of this space that head out at various like side angles. She's clearly heading for one of those and is just going to get the hell out of here.
In the meantime, I kind of gesture at your skeleton and go, Can you
I'll start.
get them
Backing
back?
It's been a while since they've been. This is why I don't usually bring them on field operations like this, but theoretically, yes. And I'll start taking the pieces from you and sort of packing them and wrapping them as best I can, like quickly, but as carefully.
The others, you can see the two of them. You can arrive with them. They are standing on this island with this, this like ice igloo structure built into part of it with light gleaming out from the doorway. You are all there. There are no signs of pursuit behind you. This illusion of the ice is still very much there. You can see through it slightly because you're aware it's an illusion, but you can't see any pursuit from the far side. It looks like they might have been chastened, certainly, by all of this. So you have a moment to breathe.
Soon as sorry, Emma, do you want to?
She said something in Giant and then got frustrated that we couldn't understand Giant and then went that way.
And you can still see Thrima swimming, like she's maybe 50 feet away, just swimming towards the edge of the lake and a way out.
She said she was going to make some distractions and help us get away safely. As soon as Ivy sees what Ashra is doing, she'll just go, Ashra, I am so sorry. Can I help?
Not now. It's okay. We got what we could find. It's probably fixable.
Ivy is going to do the unbelievable, probably for both of them, and just gently rest a hand on Ashra's shoulder in sympathy. Leave it there for maybe 4 seconds, and then it gets uncomfortable and go away.
I'm slightly startled, but then actually grateful.
Empathy!
Between you as a party, enough of you have the ability to water walk or move across these areas very carefully that you can get to the other side of this lake relatively easily. I'm assuming that's what you're going to do?
Yeah. I will dump some healing into myself first.
As you are moving away from this area, you can see that some of the frost giants and trolls are sort of making their way back across. The illusion does fail. Like, they're going to eventually go up to it and go poke, and it's going to obviously not be there. But you have more than enough time to make your way out. All of the trolls and giants on this side of the lake were called over by the Fracas and are no longer part of this. And giants in particular, they can get into the water and they can swim. They are not fast in the water. It takes them a while to move around this space, and they don't have any boats. But the trolls are very quick in the water, but you can run as fast as they can swim. So you're very able to outpace them and get to the far end of this under ice lake. As you make your way through and get to the far end, at the far end of this, you can see there are more tunnels going out. Some of them have these like bits of netherese like architecture jammed into them as rudimentary doorways. Some don't. You can also see some more wooden bits floating in the water that were clearly once like boats, very nicely made boats, and Kenneth's again quite like doesn't look particularly happy about all of this. If you take a second to look around, the pieces of netherese architecture you can see here, where before there was more of a sense that they had been sort of preserved under the ice, these have been battered to buggery. There is none of the detail. It is mostly just sort of random shards of rock or pieces of wall, but they've taken quite a lot of damage over the years, and there's nothing recognizable about any of them. Certainly no food dispensaries or anything like that. Regardless, you reach the other side of the lake, and Kenna will point out, okay, if we go through that tunnel, we can get, if we travel for the next couple of hours, we can probably get to my people before nightfall. Well, before we're all exhausted.
Okay. Can we find somewhere to take 10 minutes? I can
Rest.
resummon another companion.
If we wait an hour, we're probably traveling into what would be nighttime, but what does nighttime mean anymore? If we're all good, no one's like too badly winded or...
I mean, cardio, a lot of I could do with just, I don't know.
It would probably be wise
hour,
for us
maybe?
It would be wise for us to head into a tunnel and away from the lake. They'll probably try and retake this.
It was definitely the worst hurt you've ever seen, Prosp'rus.
Like bits of the arm probably got torn open, like it needs a bit of fixing.
Oh, I don't want to fix it. I could do with an hour just to like, hammer this bit back in.
That's fine. Yeah.
Good.
But if you all step through one of these tunnels and make your way towards the surface, these tunnels do curve up and you will get back to the surface, back to the glacier. And it is just, as before, big old white landscape, not a lot of distinguishing features, very hard to make any reference. Who's got the highest passive perception? Might be Viktor?
Mine's 12.
12?
16.
14.
Sorry, was that passive perception?
Yes, please.
That's 17.
Yeah, it is. Thought so. Oh, it could be Ivy, actually.
It won't be me. Mine's really low. It is 13.
Yeah. Viktor, looking out over the ice, you can see in the not It's a very strange thing because it's dark, and it is very, very dark on top of the glacier because it's still nighttime. There are these aurora borealis in the sky, this sort of faint blue light that continually shines over the whole of the Icewind Dale at this point. But in the distance, you think you can see a solitary mountain. Oh, hang on, I can take this down.
But I do point out on the horizon and go, that may be a possible place of interest.
That's above it. That's
right.
The whole mountain is hot to the touch. Snow doesn't fall there.
I mean, that
sounds like a nice change.
Yeah, great.
Okay, well, if we're all ready, you have all short rested. We'll equivalent short rest if that's what you need. That's fine.
Kenna, do you think there'll be time for a longer rest before we get in there?
I mean, if it's safe, I can't promise it will be.
I mean, we've got Ashra's little dome thing.
If we want to wait here, we could wait here and go in the morning if we think that would be safer. It is right there, and...
No, don't need
How
to.
far away is this mountain?
It's like half a day's travel. And since you set off first thing in the morning to get through these caves, you've got like about a 4-hour hike to get there. You've made good time because you got across the lake relatively effectively.
Fine. In that case, I will roll one more hit dice.
Okay. Cool. Is everyone ready to depart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Aspen looking traumatized or just chill?
Aspen's having the time of her life. She looks like she's one of the team, having a great time, really excited.
Is it snowing?
Is it still
Yes,
elk
it's still...
weather, or could I have a warhorse now?
Warhorse would struggle in the snow.
But I mean, it would still go 60 feet. So even if it used half its movement,
no. Certain creatures are better at traveling for long-term times across packed snow. Horses are not one of them.
that's not true.
Would it be slower than us?
It can go 60
No.
foot in its normal movement.
No, but it would get exhausted by the weather, if nothing else.
I mean, it's a fey creature. Fine, I'll have another elk.
Okay. So you can pack up the elk with all of the things that Cyrus grabbed earlier. That's fine.
What about a mastiff?
A dog?
Dog.
It's one of the options. That's all.
It would be up to snow up to
Fine.
here. It'd be a very upset
I will
dog.
have another elk.
I'm liking the elk.
The elks, except when they died.
Okay. You are all trudging through the snow as before, wrapped up, being careful, being cautious. Kenna will roll a survival check. That's just fine. You are making your way across towards this strange black-grey, black-brown mountain. Anything anyone discusses en route?
I would quite like to have a little chat with Viktor.
Okay, go ahead.
Probably slightly out of earshot of everyone else.
People are staying within 10 feet of you because of your aura,
but
especially
I
Cyrus,
can-
especially Ashra.
I can talk quietly. It is possible for Prosp'rus, just not normal. So I've got something in my eye.
Sure, talk to Viktor quietly then, and people. I will respect people not overhearing unless you decide you overhear.
Viktor, you said the other day that you've spoken to Lyra before.
Not for a little while, but yes, I have before.
What was that like?
It's Did you grow up with siblings, Prosp'rus?
No, only child. A lot of pressure.
I did.
No, only child. Here is my trauma. Sorry.
I did. And there was something incredibly special about when your parent could make time for just you out of all of them. Having Lyra speak to you was like having the sun look down on you and only you and decide to make time for you. I don't think I put in the work for quite to earn that attention, but no, there's nothing quite like it.
I think I would like Trontier to speak to me, but...
Sorry?
I think I would like Chontea to speak to me, but she hasn't.
What have you tried?
Well, farming. Quite a lot of farming. Fighting. Quite a lot of fighting. And then farming and fighting, which is hard to do at the same time. But possible if you're fast with the farming.
Well, you have a sickle. You can... No, stab.
Have you ever taken the time to just sit down and not do anything and try and talk to her?
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll try that.
How about this next evening? We both try together.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have better luck, yeah?
Okay, that would be nice. Thanks, Viktor.
Mm.
Do you think
Yeah.
I need to farm at the same time?
No, I think the farming is wonderful. I'm sure she appreciates the farming. Maybe just sit and don't do anything else. And just talk. That's all you need.
Okay, I'm gonna spend some time now thinking about what I'd want to talk about.
Good plan.
Hey, cleric, how do I talk to my god? Well, paladin, you talk to your god. Do I do it by hitting things? No, paladin, you do not. Do I do it by doing things? No, paladin, you do not. I don't understand. I can't hit things, though. Good, right. That happened. Any other discussions en route?
Ivy will make sure that she's found Aspen and just go, not bad.
That
Except that time when you fell over, but, you know,
was
not bad.
awesome! Oh my god, there were giants on a lake and we were running on... Ivy, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was quite fun, wasn't it?
Yeah! Great!
Isn't it better when they're monsters? We don't have any, like, ethical qualms. You can just kill monsters.
But don't they have, like, society as well?
Oh, please, Aspen, come on. They were infected by a super corrupted evil thing. It's fine.
Doesn't mean they haven't got society, Ivy.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. I'll carry on with the self-loathing. Awesome. Bye. Have a nice walk.
Oh, Ivy! Chases off. Aspen stops making points about D&D. Good, right. As you are going, it is hard going still. It is heavy, like the blizzard has picked up again. The snow is thick and deep, and you are realizing more and more. You are so far away from civilization. You are so far away from any semblance of, comfort and home. You're in the middle of nowhere. And for some of you that might be quite fun, and for some of you that might be quite terrifying, I don't know. But this idea that there is nothing for miles is getting worse and worse and worse. It is genuinely terrifying here. And as you continue to make your way forward, you realize that the ground underfoot is changing. That the texture of the snow, what used to be quite crisp and quite firm and sort of a lovely crunch every time you put your foot down in it, now has a slightly wetter aspect, more of a sort of sludgy slurry. And you are starting to realize that bits of this place you are walking are melting, which is very weird. It's not to the point of being water, being a lake, anything like that. If anything, the strangeness here is that it's like the snow is melting, then refreezing. So you're cracking through a very thin layer on top of thick, icy snow, and underneath it just gets sort of sludgier and better. So your steps become harder. Kenna does turn around and go, "The next bit will be harder. I'm sorry. This is just what we have to get through." And as you continue to trudge forward, the going is tough. Your faces and wherever you are not managing to stay covered and wrapped up are being swept by the blizzard. It's getting stronger and worse and colder. But sort of from the feet up, there's this almost strange sense of warmth and wetness. But then the warmth goes and it's just cold and wet. And it is It is horrible. This is unpleasant to say the least. You also start seeing, bizarrely, fewer animals. Like there was the occasional snow hare or fox and things like that, but you get nothing here. It is like the land feels quite dead. Can everyone make me a con saving throw, please?
Could Victor be in my aura? Because they have all been staying within 10 feet of me to get the other aura. Deliberately, we had this conversation.
A truly useless nat 20.
It doesn't matter.
Ashra's also been staying within 10 feet of me to get the other aura. And if you're in the other aura, you have to be in the other aura.
Okay, Victor and Ashra get to do this with, and Cyrus get to do this with advantage.
No, with a +5.
With a +5. Everyone else is a flat roll. Ooh.
Again, the most useless nat 20.
Mine is a 27.
Very nearly that one.
Did you roll a nat 1?
No, very nearly, but it rolled over.
Oh.
Okay, what are the totals? Victor, you've got a 20, nat 20 plus loads, so yeah, you're fine. Red, what did Milk get?
21.
Yeah, you're fine too. Prosp'rus?
27.
Yeah, you're fine too. Rebecca?
16.
16, you're fine too.
Oh, good.
However, Cyrus is absolutely fine. Toughen it out. Tough little dwarf. Kenna is fine, obviously. But Aspen is starting to look really cold and unhappy and thinks she's pissed off Ivy. There's a certain amount of like just unhappy, and generally there's.
Can I give her my coat again, please?
Sure, she already has a level of exhaustion. That won't change.
Can we put her on
I
the
still
elk?
will do it. She's my little sister and she looks cold. I will give her my layers.
That's fine. You can put her on the elk as well. That's perfectly fine.
Yes, please. And I'll give her a hug and be like, "You're fine. We're fine. Just yeah." Guilt. Don't bring up the guilt all the time. Maybe.
Making a point about monster physiognomy, and that not that all monsters, nothing's a monster. Everything has its own place in the world.
Yes, but remember, Aspen, what's just academically interesting to one person can be really quite traumatic and triggering to another person. So maybe think about how your words will have an effect on someone else before you make a passing comment.
You make a very valid point. I apologize.
I do. And I'll give her a hug and make sure that we're okay before putting her on an elk.
Yeah. You all continue. Up ahead of you, this heat from under the ground is causing the ice and snow around you to arrange itself in very peculiar ways. Up ahead, you can see that, like, the ground, like the snow underfoot is almost melting away to a point where it would be just slush. But you're actually starting to see little pockets of earth and rock, like earth, something you haven't seen in months. Very, very long time. And even patches of grass in places. And vaulting above this, you get these sort of very strange, almost crystalline, thin, like big ice domes and big sort of ice buttresses almost, where the ice is and the wind is keeping it cool enough, high up enough to create this sort of almost like spiderweb lattice work of ice slowly forming above you as the ground beneath you starts turning into more earth and rock and stone. And there is a definite heat to the ground. You can feel it now. And then almost sulfuric, slightly rotten smell of vegetation. It's a very strange collection of elements here. And as you continue to walk forward, Kenna does sort of speed up a little bit. So you're like, good, found it, sweet. And as you walk forward, the ice underneath you and the snow is melting away almost entirely into this landscape. And up ahead, you can see this sort of wide open, yawning almost cavern in the ice. And ahead of you is, you wouldn't quite know how to engage with this, but ahead of you is what looks like a jungle. Green trees, fronds growing out of this earthen ground underneath this latticework of ice. And there is sort of the occasional sprinkle of snow through on top of this that you can see is almost melting into rain as it falls down onto this. And you are getting into the outskirts of this strange place that you can't quite, that Kenna did describe earlier, but it's a jungle under the ice. And as you step, the temperature, the air temperature down here, the wind chill is still very high, but the air temperature down here is quite sort of temperate, and it gets warmer the closer you get. There's a very strange mixture of feelings and reactions. And as you all move forward towards this space, kind of moving slightly ahead, from the mouth of this space as you're walking into, you can see coming out of the ground and covered with some of these bits of jungle-like tree and root and branch and almost like ivy wrapping up the side. Not you.
But I could, because I can climb vertical surfaces.
There are these pieces of Netherese architecture that look almost whole and look almost entirely fine. Almost like they have been kept in this space, and almost like these sort of strange, like temples in a jungle in a very different kind of adventure, almost growing out of the tree line in various places. Almost like parts of Netheril are actually surviving and doing almost fine here. What you also hear is a very loud, inhumane roar as the trees start to shake and rumble, and a patch of sort of slushy snow near all of you has a strange ripple effect in it as heavy footsteps, as something is coming running towards the smell of fresh meat.
Yeah.
And
Boo.
running out of the jungle, you all see what we'll pick up with next time.
It's going to be a dinosaur, and I'm going to kill it.
No one's singing it. No one's singing it. I really want to sing it, but no one's singing it.
Copyright.
Copyright.
Anyway, with the jungle under the ice is where we'll pick up next time. Thank you everyone for joining us for that crazy combat encounter. Thank you everyone for going with. What a complex one it was. If you enjoyed tonight, we are playing every Monday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's Monday nights, BST. Different time zones that will obviously vary, so do catch us when you can. This was the halfway point, so we've got another 5 to go.
That was 6.
This is 6. Oh, there's 6 more to go. 6 more to go. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, my maths. Yes, 6 more to go from next week. We also have a live D&D show on the first Tuesday of every month, so that should be coming up relatively soon. Do check that out. That's DM'd by the wonderful Chloe Mashter, and it's called Undergods, and I play in that one, so that's a bit different. I get to play my new character next time because my character died in the last one. Was sad. But also I get to play a new character.
Fight better, like our party.
No, Red, I really don't want to die.
Anyway, those can all be seen at twitch.tv/adventureswanted or join us at youtube.com/adventureswanted for everything. It's mostly archived roughly a week after it goes out on Twitch, so you'll be able to catch it relatively soon after the fact and do see what you can see there. Catch us on social media. We are Adventurers Wanted basically everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Patreon as well if you want to patronize us and help us do more of what we do. On YouTube, on Twitter, we are Adventurers250, so that's a slightly different one there, but do pop along there and find out more about what we are doing and what we have coming up. Big thanks again to Ultra Pro and to D&D Beyond, and you have another maybe 30 seconds, step into the chat and say anything, and with a chance to win this lovely GIF, UK address holders only. Thank you very much. Lovely. And a big thanks to Idle Champions as well while we're here. This has been great. Love working with you. I think that's basically everything from me. Is that everything for everyone else?
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. Then in which case we will end there and see you all next week. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Bye.